yo, a yo, yo, yo. Welcome back. Random show settings. We're back once again. What's happening, people? What's crack-a-lacking? How you doing? How you feeling? How you doing? How are you blood clot feeling? We are back once again. Random show settings with your host, Agostino Zinga. I hope you are doing well. Part 3, 274. What's crack-a-lacking? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I've applied some oils on my face. It's a bit warm to put oils on my face, but I needed to have some sort of some sort of like cleanse in my skin and shit. But I'm still feeling a little bit sweaty, but it is what it is. What's happening, people? What's crack-a-lacking? What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal? I'm not putting any more hairs in my hair. My hair's looking a bit mad, but we're here. We're live and we're queer. What's happening, people? What's happening, brothers? Hope you're all well. Hope you're all good. Hope you're all well. Hope you're all good. Apologies for the lateness, but we're here. But we are here. Okay, cool. Let's roll in. Let's roll in. Let's get the voice. Let's get the microphone volume up. Microphone volume up. Microphone volume up. Cool. Good. Good. Actually, let's make sure, because I'm gonna be talking a bit low today, so I want to make sure this microphone volume is all nice and irie. You feel me? I don't want any issue. So let's just increase a couple of the filters here. Maybe the gain. Put it up a little bit, because I don't want to be talking too loudly and waking up the neighbors and shit. You feel me? So let's put it up there. Nice. There we go. Maybe let's put it up to 11. Let's do 11. Let's do 11. Let's put up to 11 dB. Let's go fucking crazy. Let's go 11 dB. Let's go nuts. Let's go psycho, right? Brat Summer. Let's go. Let's go. All right, cool. There we go. There we go. Big up everybody in the stream chat for hanging in there. Thank you for joining me, everybody that's in the stream chat. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for hanging out with a kid. It's always appreciated. Never taken for granted. Thank you for using whatever little time you have on this little planet, hurtling through space to sit down and talk with me. I'm happy for you to be here with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me know while go on. Let me know while go on. Let me know while go on. If the microphone volume is slow, please let me know. Please let me know. But it should be okay now. It should be okay. I'm talking directly into it. You can hear me. I'm gonna suck it in a minute. I'm gonna take it full frontal in the face. Let me know if it's too low, but it should be good. Big up everybody in the stream chat. My nuts, I see you. It's a little bit low. Is it? It's a little bit low still. It's a little bit low. Is it? How about that? How about this? How about this? How about that? How about that? How about that? Is that good? Is that good? Young Gold Vibes. Look at it. Big up Young Gold Vibes. Big up Brian. I see you. High Stakes. I see you. What's happening? What's happening? Is that better? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Chris Rizze. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you guys for telling me the truth and not trolling me like some people do sometimes here. Big up Charles Lucas. I feel you. Seth11. I see you. Miguel. I see you. Asad Aziz. What's happening, my guy? Koila, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, Koila? Thank you so much, my boy. I appreciate you so much for the kind words. Thank you. I need some of that sometimes, you know. Get me nice and irie. Get me feeling all twist up and shit. You feel me? Big up Koila. Big up Seth. I see you as well. Queso Moses. I see you. What's good? Great Bridge Footballer. What's happening? What's happening, everybody? I appreciate all of you. So let's just get right into it, innit? Let's just get right into it. Let's not waste any more time. Let's just get straight out into it. So first things first, I need to go over some clips actually from the last TFATK episode, because I didn't actually finish that. So let's see if I can. Have I actually got it up on here? I think it's 1016. There we go. So let's go over TFATK. So episode TFATK, episode number 1016. We did the first clip, which was about the UFC and shit, right? And we're gonna do another one. This is this is from episode number 1016. The timestamp is around, what is it, 1516, right? Let me know what you guys think in the stream chat. Do you believe this Brendan Pursuit of Happiness story or not? Personally, I don't believe it. I think he's lying. But I want you guys in the stream chat to let me know. Am I bugging out for not believing Brendan? Whoops. One second. Sorry. I'm just want you guys to let me know in the stream chat. Do you believe this Pursuit of Happiness story from Brendan? It's about 1:15, isn't it, right? It's about 1:15, 16. Let me scan over because I think you guys are going to get a little bit of a kick out of this. Let me know if you believe this story. Personally, I don't believe anything that this guy says. I still think there's always a sprinkle of truth in it, but I think this particular story is completely made up. That's my honest opinion. So let's just scroll over to 15 and let's see what this guy has to talk about, because I personally think it's all fucking cap. So let's fucking go and let's hear Brendan's pursuit of happiness story. All right, let me know in the stream chat how much of this story you actually believe. Oh, whoops. No sound. Apologies, no sound. That was my fault there. No sound. Apologies. No sound. Let's go there. Boom. Let's go.
Items site-wide, okay? Just go to trueclassic.com/fighter to save. trueclassic.com/fighter and discover the perfect blend of summer vibes, timeless elegance.
Yo, big up Joe for MIA.
Yeah, I never blow anybody. I didn't blow Tom House off. I didn't know who he was, and it, I was just at a different. I was like in the UFC, and I was like, I don't what do I give a fuck about pitching technique?
Yeah,
like I was like, I'm gonna go eat. I was.
Yo, big up Chris Rizzo. I appreciate you.
I'm watching this over Sandler on Rogan first.
Yes.
Big ups.
Yes, you know the deal. Yeah, big up. Appreciate you. Yeah, I've got the Sandler ready to go tomorrow as well. I've got Sandler ready to go tomorrow. For tomorrow. I've not even taken a look at the Joe Rogan subreddit. I've not spoiled anything. I'm just gonna go into it raw with no heads up, no nothing. I want to experience it because he rarely does pods anyway, or interviews in general, so it's going to be a pleasure to hear him speak. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a regular Rogan episode where he just fucking inundates him with all of his normal fucking anecdotes and his stories and shit. He actually lets Adam Sandler kind of have free reign and stuff, but we know how Rogan is. I'm going to go into it with good hopes. I'm going to go into it high expectations, and hopefully it delivers. So big up Chris Rizzo. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you.
Hungry. Dude, I would have starved myself for 30 days to have a 5-minute conversation with him right now.
Yeah.
He's still alive, but
yeah,
I could have developed a relationship, would have helped out Tiger. What the fuck am I doing? Well, I told you that time when I was selling supplements, I had to do like cold calls. I told you this?
No, but I already like it. I know you had a briefcase with supplements, and I know you're super ambitious, so you had all your round haul planned out.
Everything. And they put
Brendan just adding stuff. Brian just adding stuff to the lie. So most likely Brendan did have a job when he was coming up, maybe younger, before his dad sorted him out or before his dad became a millionaire, where he was selling supplements. Maybe in a call center. I could see that being a thing. But this added part of the story where he was allegedly selling supplements door to door, pursuit of happiness style, and he had some sort of like target goals board thing that Brian just included in the story. You see how happy he is as well. Like, he got that little kind of like happy old man face. Like, he's just making up a lie for Brian. It's fucking gross. Absolutely gross. Look how happy he is. Just to sprinkle a little bit of salt, a little bit of paprika, right? A little bit of cumin, a little bit of tarragon into the lie. It's not even your lie. You're just making up stuff. That's how you know. That's how you know they're actually friends. That's how you know they're actually friends, to be honest. Because he's doing something that only your friend will do. They just start lying for you in the presence of maybe other girls, in the presence of other dudes you want to like kind of stun on. Because why would you just say this randomly?
And I know you're super ambitious, so you had all your round haul planned out.
Everything. And they put me on this.
Look, you see that face? Hold on. You see that face? I hate that. I hate how you're
super ambitious, so you had all your round haul planned out.
Everything. And they
look at that. Ew. Look at that face. For another man, look how happy he is to just lie, and just invent stuff. Look at the glee. Look at the fucking excitement in his face. Oh yeah, you had probably a little like board thing, and you probably had your outfits like ironed and laid out in the morning, precisely how you'd wear them, and you probably have a system of how you tied your shoelaces, depending on how many deals you closed or didn't close. You probably answered the phone a certain way, and you had this kind of like, ritual that you did to make sure that you got deals over the line. Like, look at him. Ugh. He probably hasn't shown that level of enthusiasm, that level of giddiness, that level of glee for his own children. But here he is with his pom-poms out for fucking Brendan. I get it because the guy pays his salary. I understand. Whether your bread is buttered, act accordingly. But Brian, man, have some tact, have some class, man. Put your tongue back in your mouth. Yuck. Anyway.
They put me on this call for like this big
I can see you picking out your outfit every day.
Oh, dude. I had the suit on and I was like taking a call. I had a Cadillac, a Cadillac.
Like a car you couldn't afford.
Oh, definitely. No, I was making like $600 every 2.
Oh, gross, Brian. Gross. But I guess that must happen sometimes. If you live maybe if you have a fairly affluent childhood, maybe sometimes you live vicariously through the people that are around you. So maybe if you grew up affluent, but then you went to like a regular school, or you got to hang out with regular kids, maybe when they tell their stories, you get to kind of like live through them, and you'll kind of miss, all the things that you've missed out on in your childhood, like you kind of get to live it through theirs in a weird way. I don't like it personally. I think it's lame and gross and disgusting, but I can kind of see where that kind of glee and excitement comes from, like, because you was never involved, you was never there, and someone's describing the stories to you, and maybe Brendan obviously can feel that he needs a little bit of that, and he's kind of adding some fucking salsa to his fucking dip to make it seem a little bit more than what it actually was. Either way, it's gross.
2 weeks. The Cadillac was like $1,000 something.
Of course it was.
Yeah, it was a disaster.
Got to push yourself.
It was a silver Cadillac. It was fucking sick V8. Anyway, but my buddy Brad Pye at the time was like, dude, this is a big account. So, and Brad was in the NFL, right? And so there's like, and he was like in the NFL, right? And had a cappuccino. So there's something going on there. So he's like, dude, because I was good at selling. He's like, we need you to like seal this big account deal. And he's like,
because I was good at selling. Press X to doubt. Press X to doubt on that one. I was good at selling. Sir, this is a Wendy's.
And I was like, oh yeah. He's like, yeah. He's like, and the guy might relate to us because he played ball too. I'm like, he played football. He's like, yeah, I think at a high level. I'm like, all right, cool. So we're talking. I'm like, let me just get this out of the way now here. When we're talking about supplements, like, I played Division I football at CU, played with the Buffalo Bills. So when it comes to supplement, he goes, and I like go on this whole rant. He goes, cool. And I go, so, I don't know if you're familiar with, athletics at that level. And he goes, I know a thing or two about it. I forget who it was, but he's like at the time was like the most, he scored like the most points ever as a kicker or something.
Oh,
he spent like 14 or 15 years in the NFL.
That's so bad.
Dude, and I was like, so, did you play ball? He goes, a little bit, yeah. 15 years I went through all the teams. I was all. And he goes, so I'm sorry, what were you saying though about Buffalo Bills? I was like, nothing.
Nothing.
We didn't get the account.
No. We'll see you later.
So, most likely, could I see a scenario where Brendan was giving it the Billy Big Balls over the phone and overestimating his wealth, his worth, and just talking out of his ass and not letting the guy get a word in edgeways, and then kind of talking himself into an embarrassing situation? Yes. Do I believe he had a suitcase full of supplements and he was going door to door, gym to gym, office to office, fucking trying to sell these supplements, and you ended up at some former NFL kicker's place and they had this conversation about no. Did it happen maybe over the phone and you had an awkward bit where maybe he didn't know the guy played football and he actually did play? Maybe. But all the other shit, complete lie, complete fabrication, made up. And like I always say with Brendan, when it comes to this sort of stuff, it's like, why lie when the actual real story is still funny? If the real story is you grabbed the phone, called some person who you didn't maybe research, or you didn't maybe, do necessary work on prior, and you just assumed you were just some regular person, and you just fucked up the call by not knowing what they were about, their background and stuff, and you kind of fucked up the lead, that's still a fun story. That's still a funny story. That's still a humorous story. That's still a story that people will maybe kind of, relate to you about. It's a little bit self-deprecating, a little bit embarrassing, a little bit funny. It's still cool. You don't have to add the unnecessary lie and kind of steal the entire plot from Will Smith's The Pursuit of Happiness in order to make it sound believable, or in order to make it sound look better. It's just such heinous, unnecessary levels of pathological lying that just make you think like, what is the point when the actual truth is actually decent enough? But I guess when you're a pathological liar, you do pathological shit. So I guess it is what it is. Continuing on, we got this clip. kind of about 22 minutes in of Brendan, in my opinion, lying about jogging. Now, I say like Brendan lies about jogging because he's obsessed with social media like we all are. He's always checking his phone. Every time he says he's not on his phone or he's not reading comments, he's lying. He sees everything, like we all see everything, mostly. We get around to seeing all of it. He does too. But he's also very showy. He's also a bit of a show-off. He likes to show what he's doing, especially if it deems it to be cool or impressive. So I don't believe that this guy actually runs the way he says he runs, because if he did, considering his size, considering how ungangly and how unathletic he generally looks, the fact that if he was doing it, it would be quite a good achievement, getting up really early in the morning to go for a run before you take the kids for to school is actually pretty cool, especially when you imagine trying to, being a family man and stuff, and finding the time to do that requires an insane level of discipline, all that sort of malarkey and drive. Yes, we get it. But I don't think he does, because I've never seen a single picture of him running on his Instagram page, a single picture of him running shoes, a single picture of him waking up at a certain time. All these sort of like cliche things that he would definitely do on his social media, he's never done. So in my opinion, I think he completely makes up the running thing. And I still don't understand why, because he takes Ozempic. Why bother? If the Ozempic is working for you and you're in the best shape you have been in your life, why even bother trying to lie about running? Doesn't make any sense.
But they figured it out now. Yeah. This stuff's over.
Yeah, with you, you're a little different. What are you doing right now? You just lifting weights?
And you see what happens here? I think Brian is very aware that Brendan lies a lot, but he just plays into it because he knows where his bread is buttered, and he's got that bit of a cuck, simp, dom kind of energy. Not dom, like sub energy, right? He likes that sort of shit. And he likes to kind of give Brendan the reins to be the lead or to kind of feel good about himself. I don't know what the term is. It's not sort of if it's a deference thing, but he does like to kind of like, he plays like he does that thing well of like being in a room and like sucking somebody off, but not making it look like he's overly sucking them off. Like he knows how to like make sure the person who's the quote unquote main person in the room feels like they're the main person in the room. That sort of stuff. As opposed to Bert. Bert Kreischer is the opposite. Bert Kreischer will try and compete with that person. He won't let the person have the room or the space. He will try and compete. So Brian does the same thing. So in this regard, he just offers it up. Yeah, so you weightlift, right? You're boxing, right? Yeah, you're rolling, right? You're doing jiu-jitsu, right? Every day, right? Like just giving somebody a chance to lie, which is obviously not good.
Lifting weights, running. My knee's acting up a little bit.
Lifting weights, running.
But I still do cardio. I'll jog. I just can't do as much.
It's a lot of weight on your body.
I'll jog.
But I've always run a long way. Yeah, I always like to run.
Yeah.
I always like to run.
It's kind of rare for a big guy to run that much, right?
Yeah, and I think and enjoy it. Yeah. I remember when me and Klopp were both. I
don't believe it at all. I'm sorry. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. If he was running the way he said he was running, if he is running the way he says he's running, he would post on social. He definitely would. He'd be showing off his 5K time. He'd be showing off his mile time, showing off his 10K time, showing off how many miles he did on a long, slow run. He'd be showing that shit off. He would be. If your fucking colleague that works in the office with you is showing off her fucking couch of 5K little routine on her social media, why isn't he doing it?
In the UFC, and yeah, he was in the NFL, and he, I was run. He's like, I'll work out with you. He started running about 5 minutes, and he goes, nah, man, I'm too big. He's like, I'm too big. He's like, I'm gonna run sprints. I was like, yeah,
I've never seen actually personally a genetic freak like that.
Okay, no, we're not gonna let fucking Brian start fucking sucking Kloppenstein person off. Either way, I find it ridiculous and R-worded because Ozempic is already working really well for him. He's finally found something that's allowed him to get the fitness or weight loss goals that he's probably been always aiming for a while. He's kept off the weight pretty well, I think so. He's not really put on a lot of it on. He's not put a lot of extra weight on randomly. He still looks thin as usual that he's done in the past. Not maybe as worse as he was in the past. I think he's put on a little bit of LBs here and there, but he's looking super, super big like most people do when they kind of get off Ozempic. He's obviously working well for him, so why lie about the running? You don't have to admit what you're doing, Ozempic, because it's your own private medical shit. But the lying about running, the stolen valor of running is cringe, 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 cringe. Continuing on. This is a minor one. This is a very minor one. But it seems like Chin might be getting a little bit embarrassed about his lack of Googling skills. because I noticed a little bit of an edit here. Now, this is a very minor thing. I'm probably overanalyzing things, and I don't have a life. I don't have any friends. I'm a fucking loser. I get it. But there was a really weird minor edit here that made me think Chin might be getting a bit self-conscious and a little bit insecure about his inability to spell, about his inability to Google correctly, and about his inability to use the internet outside of uploading the podcast onto their platform that they use, whatever they use. Let's play this clip.
It's not even close. He mops the floor with Karelin.
What?
Mops the floor with him. Yeah.
Karelin hadn't lost since he was 16.
Doesn't matter. Look at the medals. Go to Karelin, the Russian, Chin.
How many did he win?
Not 5.
Fifth Olympic.
That's 5. Wild, dude. And then the female wrestler
so Karelin
at 20.
Is C8.
You see that? You see that cut? When Brian Callen was spelling out Karelin, Brendan already said go to Karelin, Russian. Chin still didn't understand how to spell Karelin. Then Brian's about to spell out how to, spell Karelin, and then Chin cuts it. He cut all the he didn't like that how it looked. So Chin's now editing out all the bits where he's like fumbling around looking for stuff. He's editing those little bits out. He doesn't want people to see when he's searching or can't understand how to spell a certain person's name based on what they're writing. Because I don't know about you, but if you don't know, even if you don't know if Karelin begins with a C or a K, you just write it on Google. Karelin, Russian, Olympic wrestler. And usually Google will autocorrect it for you and give you the likely thing that you're trying to look for. But I don't think Chin even knows how to do that. Chin legitimately is going through it. I kind of feel for Chin. I'm not going to lie. I kind of feel for him. He's clearly embarrassed about not being able to spell or use Google correctly. One more time. Look at
the medals. Go to Karelin, the Russian, Chin.
How many did he win?
Not 5.
Fifth Olympic.
That's 5. Wild, dude.
Go to Karelin.
And then the female wrestler
so Karelin
at 20.
Is C8.
That's an aggressive cut. C8. That was an aggressive cut. Chin does not like that he doesn't spell. Oh man, I feel sorry for Chin. Honestly, it's okay, brother. It's okay. I still think not being able to Google is like it's like a demonstration of your maybe IQ or lack thereof, right? But it's not that big of a deal because he's surrounded by redacts. He shouldn't let these guys make him feel dumb. I would never let Brian Callen and Brendan make me feel dumb, No matter how dumb you might be, you should never let Brendan or Brian make you feel dumb because those guys are beyond dumb. So you always have to kind of fight against it, but Chin's kind of getting a bit insecure. He's feeling it. He doesn't like when people see his inability to Google things, just generally. It's really, really bad. Oh, bless fucking Chin. Bless fucking Chin. Let's another one. Let's play another one. This one is going to be a fun one because this one, I think, demonstrates Brendan's hate for black people. Right? This is a clip, not my clip. This is a clip that I from the show, and my opinion being that Brendan has a thing against blacks, right? So listen to Brendan and listen to his assessment and listen to how he kind of, processes information and how he speaks about us Negroes, right? Listen to this. Listen to Brendan Shaw right here.
So there's a little controversy that Simone Biles and Jordan Childs, they bowed to from Brazil,
the Brazilian
Andrade.
chick, yeah.
And there was a cornerback from the Ravens, I think Marlon Humphrey, came out and was like, "This is disgusting. I'm disgusted in this display." Why? Because, can you pull up the picture? They're literally bowing to her because she came in first place.
Give me a break.
And
that's just,
people are losing
first of all,
it.
Excuse me, they've known each other. So those girls have been competing with each other.
Since they were kids.
They're all super close. They're all in the same game. They're playing around and being silly.
She finally won. Simone.
Yeah. I love seeing that. And by the way, Simone Biles is the greatest ever. So for her to do that shows what an awesome.
But I also think the only reason Simone's doing it too, she's set. She's already won gold there. It's not like she's never won. Now it'd be different if Simone's never won. She keeps fucking up. Finally, it's her chance to win gold, and she fucks up, and this girl wins, and she bows down. It's like, oh, you're not a savage. But she's already done it all.
Yeah, she's done it all.
So it's like her giving this Brazilian her flowers. I don't have an issue with it. What I don't like is when they're like, I'm gonna get started on it, but when
What? What?
What? You know, when they're like, oh, you know, black power and all this, and it's good to have black representation. It's like, well, you guys dominate in athletics.
What the fuck is he talking about? When did black power come into that equation? Now, I don't know about the quarterback or the footballer that complained about that pose or about that celebration at the the gymnastics things, whatever, that Simone Biles came in third in and the Brazilian girl won. I don't know if that football player was saying that he doesn't like it that Simone Biles and the other American were maybe bowing to another athlete, right? Maybe he doesn't like competitively. He thinks they shouldn't bow. They should stand up tall and blah, 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 not be happy with the silver or the bronze. Maybe that was his angle. The person that was criticizing Simone Biles for bowing, which is an okay observation. It's a bit of a wild hot take, but I understand if you're a competitive professional athlete and you feel like seeing another competitive professional athlete, even though it's not in your sport, bowing, you maybe feel a little bit icky about it. You don't like it. You know how some football players don't like it when football players of this new generation will sometimes swap shirts with the opposing player at halftime. They think it's kind of bad taste and poor taste and it looks a little bit classless. You should do it at the end of the game. Cool, I understand it. But where did Brendan take that point and go all the way to like black power and stuff? Huh? What Simone Biles do have anything to do with black power, Black Lives Matter, black anything? Like, I don't understand. I really don't get it. And if he's talking about, if we're trying to understand what he's saying, if Brendan is trying to say he's fed up with people that are black complaining or talking about how good it is to have black representation in gymnastics, that still wouldn't be a good point, because maybe black people do dominate in other sports, but maybe in gymnastics there aren't enough black representation in there, and maybe having high level black athletes dominating the sport, especially if it's one person, two people, whatever, might actually inspire other kids to take up gymnastics because they never probably thought it was a viable thing to do. Their parents maybe wouldn't never let them. So maybe they see people like Simone Biles and other athletes as like icons to kind of follow and shit, and, you know, inspiration and whatever it may be. Why is that a bad thing? Like, why is he getting annoyed at that? Like, it's weird. I don't understand it. It's really fucking strange. Let me just go back again, because his brain kind of breaks, and I'm sure he's not being able to articulate himself, but I still think there's a weird resentment this guy has with black people, and maybe some of it comes with his wife, maybe her past experience with boys and stuff and guys she dated, MLB players, or maybe this comes predominantly from his inability to make it in football, because no matter what Brendan says, his dream was never to make it in stand-up. He wanted to become an American football player. He probably saw himself as the all-American boy. He saw himself as being that kind of, like, you know, 10+ year veteran of the league and stuff, and playing for different fucking teams and just being one of those guys. Maybe, you know, being Pat McAfee before Pat McAfee, and it didn't work out for him. So maybe part of his resentment is that he feels like the blacks basically held him back from achieving his dream, and he's never really let it go. Maybe, I don't know, but I just find it odd how he kind of always finds himself in these little corridors where he's kind of taking the piss out of black people. It's kind of wild. Let's play it one more time, because I'm still trying to understand why he's annoyed and why he seems to be going down the angle of like black lives, white lives matter too. White lives matter too. I don't know why Simone Biles bowing with another athlete or giving them props would elicit that response. Let's play the clip one more time.
Brazilian or flowers, I don't have an issue with it. What I don't like is when they're like, I'm gonna get started on it, but when, you know,
get started, please. What?
You know, when they're like, oh, you know, black power and all this, and it's good to have black representation. It's like, well, you guys dominate in athletics. Like, when has that ever been it? Like, why is this a race thing?
I hate that.
Like, why are you making it about this? All they're doing is champion
the whole point of the Olympics is it brings everybody together.
I think people are saying it's a race thing in the same way that if you saw the Winter Olympics and some kid from fucking Trinidad and Tobago won the quarter pipe competition, that would probably be quite inspiring for a whole bunch of black kids, especially if they found out he's from fucking Compton or something. That's what they're talking about. It's not about trying to push black people into something. It's just saying, hey, people, you minorities that maybe don't really see this as a viable sport or don't take any interest in it, there's this guy that's winning and crushing and doing pretty well, maybe feel inspired by his journey and maybe take it up. Or maybe, you know, a message to the parents, hey, don't be so negative and don't be so, you know, don't kind of fucking dismiss your kid if they come back home and say that they want to buy a snowboard or something. That's all it is. No one's trying to force people down your throat. No one's trying to have like a fucking quota of a certain amount of fucking minorities in gymnastics or any Olympic sport. It's just about representation. Sometimes in sports that are usually predominantly taken up by people that aren't minorities, maybe it's quite nice just to mix up a little bit. It's not that big of a deal, really and truly. It really isn't. And Olympic sports anyway, by and large, aren't even that lucrative. That's probably why a lot of minorities don't even bother. Maybe. I don't know. But it's not even like gymnastics is like the most lucrative sport in the world and people are really signing crazy $1 million deals and shit. If anything, based on some of the diddling that goes on there, gymnastics sounds like a bit of a nightmare. It doesn't sound like a walk in the park to do, no matter if you're physically gifted anyway. So I don't even know what his issue is. It's just so bizarre how he's so wound up about this. You guys dominate. It's like, he's like, it's almost like he's saying, you guys have football, you have like basketball and stuff. Like, even you're taking over MMA. Like, what more do you want? That's almost like what he's saying. Like, what more do you want? You guys have all the cool rap music. You have all the cool sneakers. You have all the chains and stuff. Like, what more do you want? It's like, bruh, it's not about wanting anything. It's just a sport. It'd be nice to see a different amount of people, you know, a range of people playing the sport. Wouldn't that be a good thing? I don't know. Maybe I'm the one bugging.
And everybody competes, you know.
Well, the one part that bothered me, I was watching. My girl was watching. It was the background, so I heard it. But there was this pole vaulter.
You know why he did that, by the way? Because he's on some like weird boycotting the Olympics thing. Because I forgot what the reason. Why is he boycotting the Olympics again? Is it because of that woman that was not transgender that everyone thought was transgender or something? I don't know what it was. Either way, he's boycotting the Olympics. So he kind of fumbled over his words there because he had to remind himself that he lied about boycotting the Olympics. So he said, "Oh, I wasn't watching it. My girl was watching it, and I heard it in the background." It's like, bro, come on.
About this, all they're doing is champion.
The whole point of the Olympics is it brings everybody together. And everybody competes, you know.
Well, the one part that bothered me, I was watching. My girl was watching. It was the background, so I heard it. But there was
one more time.
Me, I was watching. My girl was watching. It was the background, so I heard it. But there was this.
I was watching. My girl was watching.
He's like the best pole vaulter ever, and they did a background on him. And I was like, I always like those stories, right? And they show him, he's like 3, running with a kid's pole vault and going into beanbags. And his dad was like, it's just what he was always, because his mom was a pole vaulter. Oh. He's like, just what he's always been into. So we built the track in the back of the house. And then he got so good and so fast, they had to extend it. So it went out to the front yard. So he's running from the front yard to the backyard doing the whole fucking spiel. So his dad and his mom are still his coaches. But he has the Sweden thing on.
Is he saying like a subliminal message to his wife? Like, I have to be this kid's coach. If he wants to make it, I have to be his coach. Big up Chris Mack. That woman is suing Elon and JK Rowling for cyberbullying her by claiming she looks like a dude. Yeah, I don't blame her, man. And I hope she wins that case. Likely it'll get thrown out, but I hope she wins that case. I really do hope so, because the hysteria around her was just insane. Like, honestly insane. The hysteria around this woman was fucking insane. Like, I just don't understand. I don't see why people give a fuck. And to be fair, that girl that she faced who quit actually has a lot to blame as well. The girl that just quit because she couldn't, you know, she knew she was losing and she couldn't win and just quit because she was she then convinced herself, oh, the only way this person's winning is because they're a man, and just threw in a white towel. That was the person that kind of started this whole fucking beef. It's fucking ridiculous. Hope she fucking wins. It's all fucking nonsense and hysteria for no fucking reason. I hate all of it.
I'm watching the video. I'm like, that doesn't look like Sweden. Where's he at? And then he was born in Louisiana, raised in Louisiana, went to LSU, won a national championship for LSU.
And this is the reason why I'm kind of maybe pulling back from the race thing. Brendan just has an issue with like nationality and race in general. He has a very strange and warped, like, listen to what he's talking about. So if you know what he's talking about that Swedish pole vaulter, the one that went viral for getting the record during the Olympics and then running over to his girlfriend and being fucking happy and shit and jumping all over the place. He's really having a hard time coming to grips with somebody having like dual nationality, having like a not so kind of black and white, maybe background and representation, how they see themselves and whatever. He just has a hard time dealing with it. I'm not too sure it's because he doesn't maybe look stereotypically white. Maybe that's his issue. Maybe there's some underlying insecurities there because he's always wanting to look like a white guy and he doesn't. He kind of looks like Mediterranean. He could look fucking Hispanic, right? He could look whatever. He looks German or whatever, right? But he doesn't look quintessentially American white. Maybe Brian kind of looks more white than him, but Brian was fucking raised or born in fucking Philippines. But there's something about Brendan where he kind of has something. I don't know if it's because of his kids being half Mexican or something. He just hates it. Like, even this story, he's annoyed at the kid for representing Sweden because his parents are from there or something. And that allowed him to then have his parents to coach him and shit. Like, I don't see why this is an issue. Like, why does this bother him? That people have a complex or maybe layered, you know, nationality, layered way of identification, race, whatever. He just has an issue with it in general. I don't know what it is about this guy, but there's something going on there. Maybe it's racism, xenophobia. I don't know. There's something there that's not quite right with this guy.
I don't think he's ever, like, he might visit Sweden every now and then on vacation, but he represents Sweden. And I was like, well, that's fucked up. What the hell's going on here? Then you look into it.
He's so pissed. He's so pissed off at this random pole vault guy for deciding to represent the country of his what? Of his parents' birth or his grandparents' birth. Like, who gives a fuck? Who fucking gives a fuck?
I think what happened is, so he has to have his mom and dad coach him. And he went to the U.S. team, and they're like, no, we have our fucking coach. No, your mom and dad can't coach you. So he's like, cool, say less. My mom has Sweden citizenship, so you can claim that. So certain countries, if your parents, even your grandparents, if they're from there, you can claim that country, can represent them.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of competitors. Like, there's a competitor.
Like, what is wrong with that, by the way? Is he worried that his kids might grow up to become athletes and then want to represent Mexico and not America? Is that what he's worried about? Is he worried that he might lose his grip on his kids or the influence on his kids and they might just represent more with their Hispanic Latino side or something? Like, what is his gripe? I don't understand this. He fucking hates people who aren't Americans so much.
In the Winter Olympics, the pretty Asian girl, but she's American, but her grandma was born in China.
Yeah.
So she represented China, and she had to, you know, take down her Instagram comments because she just got annihilated. So certain countries are very loosey-goosey, and you represent them. And then also, that pole vaulter, he's the best in the world.
He's just making up stuff, by the way. Some countries aren't loosey-goosey. You still have to have ancestry to kind of represent even smaller countries. Even countries that aren't maybe that well represented in the Olympics. You just can't decide to just get citizenship and represent somebody. It's sometimes a complex issue, maybe marriage, maybe ancestry, whatever it may be. But he's just making it seem like you just can rep who you want. If you can't make it in America, you can just rep whatever you want and then you get to make it. Like, it doesn't work like that, especially not at an Olympic level.
Doesn't matter. But let's say he was like fourth best, so you're not going to make the U.S. team. Well, Sweden or some other country that's not as competitive, you can get to the Olympics by representing that country. So that's why they bounce around a little bit. Yeah.
So what do you think is going on there, people in the stream chat? What do you think is going on there? Does Brendan actually hate blacks, or does he just generally have a hard time with his brain and lack of IQ and lack of intelligence? Does he just have a hard time kind of getting his head around race, ethnicity, ancestry, like citizenship, whatever? Like, what's going on here? Because it's just bizarre. He said what he said about Simone Biles and it being a black power thing, and now he switched to getting pissed off about this Swedish pole vaulter that has American, you know, roots, has American in him, but has, you know, ancestry in Sweden, and decided to represent that when he went to the Olympics. There's something so bizarre about this guy. I don't know what's going on. I'm pretty sure the black thing is real. I can definitely understand why that could be a thing, right? Because it's a dream of his and it kind of got quashed. And he's definitely somebody that doesn't take a lot of personal responsibility. So I could definitely see him pointing to other people and saying they're the reason why he didn't make it, which is obviously not true. I think in all sports, especially at the highest levels, no one really no one really gets spots based on their race. Like, it doesn't work that way. If you're a white kid, Indian kid, whatever you are, and you're fucking really good at football, you're gonna get picked. Usually. That's how it usually works. You know, God willing, you're not injured and shit. You have the luck of the draw. You meet the right coaches, the right timing, all that stuff. But usually, if you're really good and you're better than everybody else in your position, it doesn't matter what the fuck you look like, you're going to get picked ahead of everybody else most of the time. Especially if you're not a problem outside of the field and you don't cause the fucking head office people a headache and shit. You're going to be okay. It's not a race thing. It doesn't work that way in sports. Honestly, it really doesn't work that way in sports. What do you guys think here? He hates blacks. He's stupid. They go hand in hand. Yep, that's true. Big up Akoila. Assad said his racism shines through his ignorance. It goes both ways. Yeah, that's a great point Assad sees. His racism shines through his ignorance. Exactly. It goes both ways. Exactly. Joel, my theory about him being adopted is probably true. He's confused because his adopted parents are white, but he's not. What? You think he's adopted? He's not adopted. His dad looks like him. His mum is clearly like a regular white lady. But from his dad's side, he's definitely got like Germanic or whatever roots or something, right? Maybe Moroccan, maybe fucking Turkish. I don't know. But his dad, you know, doesn't look like a quintessential American dude. He looks like he might have come from, you know, somewhere in Europe or whatever it may be. So I can see where that kind of shines through on him. But yeah, I don't think he's adopted. Is he adopted? I don't think he's adopted. I don't think he's adopted at all. Austin Casey, Tony Tube as well says here, he's got a complex. Austin Casey, he just hates anyone that gets more athletic to shine than him. Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. That's why he hates Malik B. I kept telling you guys, I wish I could find the clip. I need to go through the clips and do my law exercises properly. I'll probably find the episode, but there's a proper episode where Brian Callen basically introduces Malik B to the T5K audience as his opener, and they get up his Instagram on the show as they're doing the show, and you can see the fucking hate in Brendan's eyes as they're going over Malik B's Instagram. And this is before he even got on the show, before Brendan even spoke to him. Brendan hated Malik from the minute he saw his Instagram page, or from the minute Brian kept talking about his athletic prowess. Oh yeah, Malik used to train with Floyd Mayweather, used to play basketball pretty high level. Like Brendan immediately hated him. And even look at the other guy. Forget that dude. Look at the Don't Count dude. The guy with the raps. Big up him. I think he's a comedian. The guy that was doing the fucking shoulder presses with the dumbbells. And Brendan immediately started hating on him. Oh yeah, he's doing it with wrist straps. He couldn't do it without wrist straps and shit. It's like, bro, like, this is just some guy that's really fucking jacked and also does comedy. Like, why are you jealous of this guy? He just looks like a regular dude who likes to do comedy on the side and works out and has a 9-to-5. Like, why are you insecure about this dude? Like, it's not even like he plays for a team. Just because he can lift heavier weights and does it easily, like, I don't know, like he got super jealous. God's Node, yeah, the racism and stupidity goes hand in hand. Logan Loki dropping those "you're articulate" on black guests. Oh, God's Node, great point. Rogan does do that quite often. And Tom Segura has a tendency to like blackify his voice, right? He tends to kind of change his cadence and his vernacular when a brother or sister goes on his show. Tom Segura loves doing it. He loves suddenly saying y'all and all this sort of shit. It's like, bro, like, relax, man. Just be yourself. Big up Chris Rizzo. He's worried Poog might be coming back into Joe's life and teaching Tiger how to play ball for real. That's hilarious. Quite says Olympics are so big when he was a kid in the 90s. He saw all the black people more athletic than him. That's hilarious. That trauma. Oh my god. He's jealous of people who makes it. Yeah, big up Kari. Probably that's true as well. Yeah, so I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree. I just find it crazy how he still hasn't let go of these things. He still fucking hates on him so fucking much. I fucking love it. Big up Brendan, the fucking racist, allegedly. Moving on to another racist incident. This is just pure hate. And this is pure hate and his inability to articulate himself, because I think in this story, he might be a little bit right, Brendan, for his hate regarding Serena Williams. But I'm going to play the clip so you can see where I'll go on. But I'm sure some of you guys heard about the passer or the beef or the skirmish that Serena Williams got herself involved in out in Paris during the Olympics, right? So listen to how Brendan tackles this story about Serena Williams being a bit of a diva, right? At a restaurant. Watch this. Watch the way Brendan approaches this story. Another prominent black athlete that Brendan seems to have an issue with.
I like her. Ooh.
Did you guys see this story at all with Serena Williams?
She's annoying. I know she's great, but God, she's so quick to just cry victim. It's like, hey,
yeah. So
Serena,
this is what she wrote.
You had a pretty damn good run.
Nothing's worth.
That's kind of an accurate take, I think. As an observation from afar, Serena Williams does sound a bit like a nightmare. Seems accurate. I'm okay with that so far.
Everybody kisses your ass.
Nothing's worse than her husband.
Why?
Nothing.
Just the hate. Randomly, the hate for Alex Ohainen because he's a supportive husband. He seems to be really down for Serena. He doesn't seem to accept any slander of her online. He loves a good clapback. Just a guy that seems to be really into his wife. He just hates it. Don't get me wrong. Is it a little bit cringe? Maybe. But I don't see anything wrong with what Alex, I think it's Alex Ohainen, the guy that founded Reddit. I don't see why it's an issue that he kind of defends his wife. I don't know. I don't see why that's an issue. Right or wrong. That's what you should be doing, right? Through sickness or health. Right or wrong, you should be ride or die for your spouse. I don't see it as a problem. But Brendan hates him. I guess because he's maybe left-leaning or something. But let's get to it.
Things worse. Just such a
Who's
pussy.
your husband?
The
Alexis Ohanian?
guy who
We
started.
had him on our podcast a long time ago.
I did. You say that when I bring him up because I always make fun of him. I don't think so. He started Reddit or so, right? Is it Reddit?
Yeah,
and he quit and was like, a black person should be running this. It's like, bud.
What is wrong with that? Honestly, I'm not for affirmative action in general, unless it's to do with DJing. If affirmative action got introduced in the DJing world, I'd be the first in the queue. If they just gave people gigs based on the color of their skin and not on the strength of how good of a DJ they were, and just said, hey, we need to readdress the balance and kind of get things back even again, I'd take full advantage of it. I would not be shy to just start crying foul. I would probably identify as queer and everything. I would go all the way. I wouldn't give a fucking fuck. I'd probably turn up and wrap my leg up and look like I got one leg and shit. I wouldn't give a fuck. I'd be limping, closing one eye like I can't see properly. I'll do the whole thing. But in this regard, I think this Reddit dude is pretty cool. You're taking a step back from Reddit and you've got the power, maybe you've got the influence, you've got the clout to maybe decide who takes your spot on the board. Why not say, hey, because the startup world is predominantly a certain way, representation wise, I would like to do my small part and maybe have somebody on this board who maybe is from a minority background, maybe somebody who looks like my wife, because I know people from my wife's background don't really have that much involvement in tech and blah, blah, blah. Again, it's a bit of a woke thing. It's a bit woke, right? It's a bit progressive and stuff, but that's what it means to be left-leaning. You'd kind of do these sort of things. It's a bit cringe, I understand it, but if that's your wife's culture and that's where your wife's from and shit, I understand why he's taking up for it. I get it. It's perfectly fine. I don't give a fuck about it, but I can understand why he does it. It's just weird how much it kind of gets under Brendan's skin. It's just so interesting.
So he was woke a long time ago. Alexis Ohanian.
If you don't think he's getting pegged, you're out of your fucking mind.
Because he loves his wife, and because he backs her, and because he's ride or die for his wife, that means he gets pegged. Cool, got it. When really the person who probably gets pegged is the guy next to him, and probably Crystalia, and others as well. But let's talk about Alexis Ohanian.
You're Armenian?
I would imagine, yeah.
He's from Brooklyn.
But his back.
Oh my God. You see what I mean? You see what I mean about Brendan and race and identity and shit? Like, he just doesn't care. Oh, he's Armenian. No, he's not. He's from Brooklyn. What? He got pissed off. He's not Armenian. He's from Brooklyn. He's not a minority. He's trying to what? He's trying to stolen valor being a minority and act like he's foreign or something when he's not. He's just an American guy who's from Brooklyn. It's like, but his family's from Armenia. Like, clearly. He doesn't look Anglo-Saxon to me. He doesn't look Caucasian to me. he kind of looks like, he'd be Kim Kardashian's brother or something, right? I don't know about you, but that's what he kind of looks like. He kind of looks like a relative of the Kardashians or something. Like classic Armenian face. But Brendan, he's from Brooklyn. He's from Brooklyn.
I would imagine, yeah.
He's from Brooklyn.
But his let's see, early life. Yeah, Armenian background. But
the silence.
Reddit, you're right, B.
Yeah, he stepped down. Was
But
like,
she's-
a black person needs to run this.
But she's
It's
just
like, how about just have the best
annoying.
person run it?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, we get it, dude. We get it.
restaurant.
We get it, dude. We get it. You remember back in the day when I got him in trouble? What a fucking cunt when he did that with all the fucking UFC broadcasters at the time, and you got pissed off because they had an all black cast. We get it. We get it. What an absolute cunt, honestly. But maybe it kind of runs deep back at home. Maybe there's a part of him that actually detests the fact that his kids are mixed and stuff, which is also weird because he's clearly into like big booty chicks and shit. Where are they gonna come from? They're not gonna be like, I'm sure there's some girls down south, white girls who are fucking built like a dump truck. I'm sure they exist. But for the most part, if you're a dude that likes like girls with like big tits and big bums, even if they're fake, more than likely they're gonna be from like other places except for America, right? They're gonna be background wise or race wise, they're gonna be from other places. And usually if you're into girls like that, you're usually a little bit into their culture a little bit as well. Maybe you might like their music, you might like their food, something about it. But Brendan he wants the dick sucking lips, he wants the big fake boobies, he wants the big fake bums, but he doesn't want anything else, the other stuff that comes with it. Like, leave all your country shit, leave all your fucking food, leave all your loud talking, leave all your tendencies that you have aside. Just bring me the goodies, and that's all I want to see.
She's like giving that restaurant that Serena accused.
So do you know
Let me show
about,
you her poster here.
But
They,
Whole
they must have rejected her. What? Because she's black? Is that what it was?
No. She's just saying like, just read this right here.
That's the thing they're getting annoyed by. In this particular case, Serena Williams does seem to be a bit of a nightmare. Let's not sugarcoat it. But in this particular issue, I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but essentially, during the Olympics in Paris, I've quite enjoyed the amount of times American celebrities are running to issues dealing with French establishment, whether it's police, hospitality people, bars, whatever. Because French people take an extra delight in bringing people down a peg. I don't know what it is about their culture, but French people in general are proper finicky. They're rule abiders. They love a bit of red tape. They kind of are, stoked in fucking bureaucracy, and they love to make your day a nightmare if you piss them off. And usually American tourists aren't the best travelers. They can sometimes rile people up the wrong way. So I love when celebrities, especially from America, go over there, because they find out real quick that whole celebrity clout money thing doesn't run there. They don't give a fuck. They get pleasure out of like basically making you feel less than. So there was an instance where Serena Williams went to this restaurant. She wanted to eat at this restaurant, but all the tables were booked. And she complained on her Twitter that when she went there, it was empty, but they wouldn't let her sit down. Now, she didn't say it was a racial thing. I think what she was trying to say, like, how could you not let me sit? I'm fucking Serena Williams, and I've got my kids with me. Like, why just let me sit? There's no one sitting there. That's what I think she was saying. I don't think she was making it a racial thing. She was just being an entitled POS. But these guys are like pissed off already and trying to make it seem like she was trying to, have a sit down, fucking protest about the whole thing. I don't think it was that deep. She just expected to be bending over backwards for. French people don't do that, and she got pissed off.
She's involving her kids in this too. So she goes, yikes, Peninsula, Paris. I've been denied access to rooftop to eat in an empty restaurant of nicer places, but never with my kids. Always first.
So hold on, so this restaurant's like one of the biggest in Paris. They're only open for 3 hours,
and everything was reserved,
like weeks ahead. And so she just showed up and thought she could sit down. And they're like,
yeah,
even
though it was empty when she got there, they're telling her that everything on top was already reserved. So
she's like, just fucking annoying.
So she wanted special treatment?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
and then posted about it.
You want to talk about celebrity privilege?
She also gets special treatment.
I'm sure she's so
a
used
queen
to it,
everywhere she goes. Everybody she gets the world opens up to her as it should. She's the greatest tennis player of all time. But please don't tell me that they're denying you access. Like, hey, like there are other things to complain about.
No, but that's the thing though. Like American celebrity culture has kind of created this monster, because I think in America, I think the good thing about America, you do respect celebrity. I think in a way that other countries don't, and I think it's probably why celebrity culture kind of thrives there well, and you can kind of make a lot of money out of your celebrity. I don't think you can do the same in other places. You kind of are looked down upon. You aren't really regarded as highly. You're not thought of as highly really in other places like that. But I think in America, like look at even athletes, like some, you know, they want athletes to comment on like world issues and shit. Other places, athletes, people don't expect athletes to be even intelligent. They just like them for what they do and then keep it moving. But in America, they see athletes as like fucking, you know, civil rights leaders and shit. It's fucking bizarre. But in America, if she did go to a restaurant without a reservation, they would probably make an exception to try and fit her somewhere in that seating plan, whether it's moving the tables around, taking somebody's booking away from them, whatever. They'll do whatever needs to be done to make sure that she's accommodated. Unfortunately, in France, it's just not like that. In most places in Europe, it's just not like that. They do abide by the rules. If that restaurant is like in demand, they'll take pleasure in making sure that they kind of deal with the stuff by the rules. If you have to call at a certain time, they'll make sure that's done that way. And I'd imagine in some cases, even if you're a celebrity and you want special treatment, you probably have to call in some big favors to get it. And even then, it's not a guarantee. So she should have probably known that, especially with the experience playing abroad and stuff. She probably should have known how they move. You can't really, you know, you can't really kind of like, I don't know, you can't really doorstep and kind of ambush these people and kind of shame them into like helping you. It doesn't work that way. She thought she could kind of use her kids as kind of like bait to kind of get them kind of going. They're not going to have that. So that's basically what occurred. She was just being a bit of an annoying POS, but I don't think it's a race thing. I personally don't think so.
You're being
but that restaurant came out was like, hey man, we're fully booked. It has nothing to do with it.
They're like, and we're inviting her over.
Yeah, we're
again.
like, we're only open 3 hours out of the fucking day. Like we're one of the busiest restaurants in the world.
Ugh, she sucks. She sucks. It's
Why
like
does she
when
suck?
she got
Because
that
she's
call,
white?
she's like,
Because
you're
she's black?
saying it because I'm a woman. Like, shut up.
Oh, that was so bad.
Fuck off. You stole that other girl's like when she won. You her light. I don't like her.
But so, anyways, you see here, the restaurant was awesome as far as like how they replied to it. They weren't like being a douche about it.
Look, by the way, you don't become the greatest of all time a lot of times without being
An asshole.
a complete asshole in a lot of ways. A complete selfish,
And I think therein lies the issue with these guys. I think these guys are really pissed off that some people can get away with being pieces of shit and be celebrated, be lauded, be heralded, be hoisted up above. But them being very low-level celebrities, they get picked apart all the time. Their littlest mistakes get micro-analyzed and detailed and laughed at and ridiculed and whatever it may be. That's the real issue. They're just pissed off they can't get away with being as much of a douchebag as someone like a Serena Williams is consistently, and still get people to kind of make excuses for them or to turn the other way or to not give a fuck. That's the main issue. That's what I'm sensing here.
Self-centered.
Selfish,
asshole.
I get it. Self-centered, but not asshole.
I know somebody who dated one of the greatest tennis players of all time.
By the way, lies again. Brian loves this. I know a guy in the SWAT. Probably someone should do that as a compilation on YouTube. Somebody should do that and go through all the episodes and find instances where Brian says, I know a guy who SWAT. I know a guy who runs a fucking Fortune 500 company. I know a guy who just had his fucking company go public. I know a guy who just raised $1 billion in investment. I know a guy who once dated Madonna. Like, shut up. All fucking lies. LA, this is just LA talk. I know a guy. No, you don't. You heard a story from somebody else, or you fucking watched a documentary.
And they said that the biggest problem dating that person was that they are radically selfish because they had to.
And it's not going to change.
You're not going anywhere without. Yeah.
Look at that on Twitter. Of course, someone said it's Serena Williams. Of course, you make a table for her or not, and that's why they're doing so
They're
well.
good. They're fine.
They're like, no, that's why we're at where we're at. We don't. We're booked, man. We're not going to kick somebody else, a paying customer.
That's the biggest deal.
If she showed up at French Laundry in Napa Valley, same thing. They'd be like, "What are you talking about?"
That's what I'm saying.
That's a lie. That's a lie. They know it's a lie. Most celebrities in America, if they showed up to any place that was fully booked and they wanted to eat there, most places would make an exception and let them sit. Most places. I'd say probably 90% of those places in America would make the adjustments to accommodate that celebrity. You guys respect celebrity in that way, which I think is a good thing in a way, especially if you're like trying to get some extra kind of attention on what you do. It's not a bad thing. So let's not lie. I just think other places, they don't move that way and they take pleasure in it. And I think French people in general are kind of cunts anyway to tourists, right? They're not the nicest to tourists anyway. So if you come there with your fucking American entitlement and ego and bravado and shit, all that shit, can't speak the language, blah de blah, even if they can't understand you, they're gonna feel that you have contempt for them and you're fucking saying things under your breath and being generally rude. They're gonna make your life a nightmare too, which I enjoy. I love that battle between both sides. I kind of think it's very entertaining to watch.
I'm great. You're the greatest female tennis player of all time. Cool. I made a reservation 3 months ago because I'm going to Paris. Why should you get my table?
Because she's an asshole sometimes. That's what.
And it's her fault and not her fault. Like the world, that's what she's used to.
Part of the reason she's so amazing at tennis, she's the GOAT, and sometimes the GOAT, like Michael Jordan, a lot of people
they
who
suck.
are great, they suck.
They fuck it.
And I hate this narrative, by the way. I hate this narrative and this point they're trying to make, where they're basically trying to say the reason why they're not like world class at what they do, the reason why they don't have like all the fucking money and they're not fucking Scrooge McDuck is because they don't suck as humans, because they're just too nice. They couldn't be cold-hearted assassins and fucking high-level operators, because that would mean they'd have to be inhumane. They wouldn't have to have a heart. They'd have to be cold. They wouldn't have to have friends and all this shit. It's like, shut up. Shut up. You never had what it took to be at the highest level. Like most people, you never had what it took. It's not because you can't be an arsehole. It's because you just don't have what it takes. But there's this sly thing that they do. Brendan does it a lot as well, like make it seem like, oh, the reason why I don't do comedy is because I'm not a narcissist, I want to be a good father. I want to be present. I want to be there for my family. It's like, bruh, you were happy to do your little shitty tours before when you were selling tickets. Now you're not selling tickets. Suddenly now you want to be fucking dad of the year. Congratulations, but let's not try and, insult other people on your way down. Come on now.
As far as like normal day-to-day stuff, they fucking suck, man.
They're just very, very.
You don't want to be their friends.
No.
But posting about it as well, it's trying to like she's trying to make the restaurant look like a piece of crap. But
yeah, when you've been around people who are that great, it's not surprising. That shouldn't be
because she knows that can hurt them.
By the way, Brian has never been around somebody that great, so I don't know why he's trying to act like he's friends with somebody that is as decorated as Serena Williams when you've been around people that great. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Embarrassed. Her kid's like, "Mommy, I'm hungry." She's like, "Oh hell no! Watch this."
Yeah,
that's what sucks about her.
That's why the restaurant was like, "All right, man."
Yeah, but the restaurant was awesome the way they responded, and if you watch the video, you can see what's on screen.
If I was the restaurant, I would have found the last person and beat her. I'm like, "Oh, we're so sorry. Blah 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 took your table." That's what I do.
Well, we know why you're not a beast of a businessman, don't we? We know why you're not a beast of a businessman. But again, interesting little segue there. It started from, again, I think it's a pretty innocuous story. Serena Williams is being a bit of a cunt. It happens. It is what it is. But it went from Sabrina being an entitled POS, having an ego, being a nightmare. They don't really know much about her, I'd imagine. They're just going off some stories they see online, which they don't like what people do to themselves, but regardless. Then it went into them calling Alexis Ohanian, her husband, a cuck and a simp, and the fact and saying that he gets pegged and all this sort of shit just because he's woke and backs his wife. And because he maybe has extreme, hard left or like super liberal, viewpoints on how he kind of looks at the world and outlook and shit. It's just like, bruh, let's all take a deep breath, please. Let's all take a deep breath, please, if you may. If you fucking may. Last clip here. Last clip on TFATK, then we move on. A little bit of Joe Rogan nut guzzling, right? We love a bit of Joe Rogan nut guzzling from these guys. So let's hear Brendan and Brian Callen talk about this alleged lawsuit. I still haven't seen it being confirmed. I'm not sure if it's actually true, but allegedly Joe Rogan is suing MSNBC for some doctored video, blah, 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 whatever nonsense. So let's listen to these guys give Rogan a good old tug, a good old sloppy toppy.
$30 million. And it's because they've doctored a clip of him from the podcast to make it sound like he's endorsing.
I knew this was going to happen.
Kamala Harris.
Because when he started, he's like, I bet she can win. Then was going off this stuff. If out of context, in my head, when he was saying, I'm like, oh no.
But in actuality, he was talking about friend.
I knew this was going to happen. What did you know? What did you know? I knew this was going to happen. I was texting Rogan all day, actually, trying to help him out with a plan of action to how to sue him. What? I knew. I bet you did.
Of the show, Tulsi Gabbard. And Tulsi had to come out and be like, this is a fake clip. This is not what he was saying. He's talking about me.
Yeah.
But MSNBC's making it look like he's endorsing Kamala.
I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's great he's fighting back.
He should sue these assholes. Complete assholes.
You think MSNBC and like CNN, they would learn?
How do we think Sainaz is? Do you think Sainaz is in her 20s or in her 30s? She speaks like a teenager, innit? Her cadence and in voice inflection, or is that just like a Valley Girl thing? She literally speaks like an actual child. Like, let's go back a bit again. Think about me. It's like, huh? Why do you sound like that? I'm your grown-ass woman.
Endorsing Kamala.
I think it's great.
Listen to her voice.
And Tulsi had to come out and be like, this is a fake clip. This is not what he was saying. He's talking about me.
He's talking about
but
me.
But MSNBC's making it look like he's endorsing Kamala.
I think it's great.
How old are you?
Yeah, I think it's great he's fighting back.
He should sue these assholes. Complete assholes.
You think MSNBC and like CNN, they would learn? Joe ain't the one to fuck with.
But also,
he has deep pockets and he sees through all of us doing like.
Oh, maybe Joe, maybe Brendan is slightly off of the Ozempic. His face is looking a little bit more pudgy than before. Maybe he's got some fucking nicotine sacs in his cheeks or something. But he is looking a little bit more fluffy than before. Maybe he ran out of Ozempic and he's waiting for the re-up or something. But he does look a little bit more fluffy. A little bit more fluffy in the face than usual. Sorry, or maybe he's been hitting the donuts or something. I don't know. But he looks a little bit fluffy. A little bit fluffy, isn't it? A little bit fluffy, yeah.
Unless you're just a sheep. He sees through all the propaganda. He calls it out on left or right. He'll call out the right, he'll call out the left.
The media
he sees all of it, and he can fight back.
But the media is 100% behind Kamala Harris, and I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime.
I don't even want to talk politics and stuff, but I find this point of view hilarious. Like, these motherfuckers getting annoyed and pissed off that Kamala is getting some positive press. It's like, you thought the race was wrapped up after the attempted assassination. It proved not to be right. Big up, who's it? Big up, I think, Ochoa. Actually, big up Ochoa. I think Ochoa called it. Because I was like, oh my God, that almost guarantees he's going to win the election, right? Because this is some like rallying call, like a war cry or something. And everyone's going to run to the fucking polls and vote for him in their hordes. But it actually turned out not to be true. Kamala actually has come from the back, very unexpected, and has kind of garnered a lot of good will and response of people. Again, maybe it's just online and seeing what I'm reading and being able to sympathize via online, but it feels like Kamala's got a good chance of winning, like legitimately. And I would have never thought that would be the case after that attempted assassination. I thought he had it locked and loaded, but everything is kind of changing. And it ebbs and flows. I'm sure it will change back to people thinking Trump will win sooner rather than later, and it will kind of swing around about until the actual election happens. But I find some of these like Republican people getting annoyed and pissed off that she's getting favorable attention in the mostly left-leaning mainstream media is weird. Like, you keep calling them, you know, fake news and MSN and stuff. It's like, yeah, they're mostly left-leaning. Of course she's going to get a lot of good attention on those platforms. Being a minority, being a woman, it makes sense. Like, obviously she's going to get a lot more good attention on there. And these guys have made it very clear over the last few years. These guys have made it very, very, very clear over the last few years, just be fair, that they hate Trump. They want to stop him at all costs. They don't want him to be president again, ever again. Ever, ever, ever again. They don't want him to come near that White House ever again. And they're going to do whatever needs to be done to get it happen. And whether that means turning Kamala Harris into some fucking Charlie XCX brat fucking icon, or turning her into a fucking LGBTQ icon, or pretending she's black, or ignoring the fact that she's a Fed, or anything else going on, they're going to do whatever they need to do to get her to win, because it's going to make sure Trump doesn't win. So I'm just surprised that these guys are surprised. You know, that's all. I'm surprised they're surprised. It's like, bro, like, they hate your guy. What do you expect they're going to do?
I've never seen.
I saw it with
this,
Biden.
This is
Remember
is insane.
sharp as attack.
But with,
remember that?
Yeah, but there were always people talking. At least
Ruben Rivera, so fucking accurate. Ruben Rivera, so fucking accurate. They jinxed Trump as soon as they joined the right grift. Exactly. That's so true. They actually did jinx him. As soon as Brendan started to become a little bit more vocal about his right wing, tendencies and likenings, it definitely became more of a thing. You're so correct, man. And big up Joe for MIA. Big up Joe for MIA doing a bit of snooping. A quick search on Google shows that Sena's graduated high school in 2004, so that would put her either at 37 or 38. Okay, cool. I guess it's just how people speak over there. Yeah, I'm not even being insulting, but I think she's from California. She must be, right, that kind of area. They just probably speak that way, or maybe people that just live on the West Coast or maybe are part of the entertainment industry have that kind of cadence. But it's interesting. It's a very infantile way of speaking. Like she sounds like a child. Like, no, she sounds like a teenager. Sorry, it's very interesting. Like, there's no sense of like trying to sound like a grown up. It's almost like an Arrested Development type of speech thing. But whatever. Big up Sainaz.
You saw there was cognitive issues. You saw
no.
This is different.
Not till he pulled out.
But this is different. The press, and unfortunately, historically, when the press is this behind a candidate, a lot of times they win. And this is unabashed. I've never seen anything like this.
I talked to Dave Smith yesterday because he did a podcast with Candace Owens.
Yo, big up Seth 11. Shit, I thought Nigel was gonna win. No way. The right wingers in our country, in the UK, just aren't about it. They're just full of shit. They're full of hot air, and I think they could actually win, or they could actually have a lot more support if they actually did what they said they would do in general, even if it's incredibly, racist and kind of, discriminatory kind of processes and policies and shit. If they actually followed through on what they actually are about, they would have a lot more support, but they don't. They talk a big game, they waffle a lot, they kind of dog whistle and shit, but when it comes down to actually putting things into action, they don't. They just kind of look after themselves, like all politicians, right? They don't really follow through on anything that they are really actually about. And it's kind of unfortunate, really. And it also feels like a lot of the fucking hardcore right people in the UK, unfortunately as well, they don't really have a lot of support in the higher up buildings or the higher parts of fucking government and shit. There's not a lot of like openly super hardcore right EDL standard type of like MPs out there. Most of them are usually a lot of like England first type of stuff, but they don't really go super hardcore. So it's hard to have like QAnon MAGA type stuff in the UK because people are pussies, really. They don't really stand on their shit, and they get easily shamed out of their position. So that's the issue that they have. So it would never run here. But if they wanted to win, they could easily win if they actually stood on what they stood for. If they actually said, look, we're going to fucking close these borders. We're going to put all these fucking, Muslim people that they hate in prison. All these child grooming gangs. We're going to lock them down. We're going to give all black people that carry knives 10, 20-year sentences. Like, if they actually followed through on some of the shit that they say, I think they'd have a lot more support, but they're not really about the action. They don't want the consequences of it. They're scared. So they kind of just do the, the little dog whistle stuff about bring jobs back. It's like, bring what jobs back? What jobs? Where? Be precise. Be exact. Please detail these jobs for me.
I was listening to, and I was like, dude, if Kamala and that weirdo, the VP, win, I was like, what the fuck are we gonna do? He's like, man, I get the news saying all this stuff. He goes, unless they straight up steal this election, it ain't happening. He's like, it'd be tough, man.
Why has Dave Smith become the like de facto go-to person for like political analysis and shit? Honestly, like, why are people listening to a comedian? Why has he become like the voice of reason, the oracle? Like, what? Why? Like, he doesn't strike me as an overly intelligent guy, overly insightful. He might have some decent hot takes here and there, but I'd rather listen to Tim Dillon. I honestly would rather listen to Tim Dillon's crazy political hot takes and analysis and shit and have him bloviate about whatever he's bloviating about than fucking Dave Smith. Why has he become the go-to person? He's almost taken over Glenn Greenwald, right? Glenn Greenwald has become the new... No, Dave Smith has become the new Glenn Greenwald for these guys, isn't it? It's like... Why is Dave Smith your guy? Like, why not just go to actual journalists or actual reporters that actually dedicate their life to politics on either side, pass through the information and come to your own conclusion, or do your own reading? Why everyone going to Dave Smith? Like, what next? Sam Cedar and shit. Like, what are we doing here? You might as well listen to Owen Benjamin. Like, honestly, I'd rather go listen to Owen Benjamin, you know, scream about the blacks and the Jews and about living on your own farm and shit. I'd rather listen to Owen Benjamin's political opinions than anybody else. I swear to God.
But who knows?
Yeah.
But I like that Joe's doing this. He ain't the one to fuck with. God, when are you gonna learn, man? Out of all the people, use somebody else. Joe's not the one to fuck with, man.
Well, they also
enjoy that.
They lied.
But also, you know how much bigger Joe's fan base is than MSNBC?
Yeah.
Granted, they have more money and funding behind them. You know, that's a different story. But yeah, he can do it.
Also,
So this falls.
anyway, there we go. So Dave Smith, Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is all powerful. He can defeat MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, the whole thing. He is the best. We love fucking Joe Rogan. I don't know, man. These guys, when it comes to nut hugging Joe, when it comes to putting both hands around Joe's taint and sucking continuously, they do a really good job at it. So big up those guys. Big up those guys. What are you guys saying here in the stream chat? What are you guys saying? Because he's one of the only comedians who at least reads about world politics. Okay, cool. That's a fair point, Asad Aziz. Dave Smith is the only one who, yeah, that's actually a good point, because he's the only one who reads about world politics. That's actually really true. He's the only one that actually seems to have an interest in it, and most people don't seem to have an interest in it, or most people lie or whatever maybe. So yeah, you're right. You're definitely right on that one. Chris Matt, Dave Smith is on Tucker Carlson's podcast today as well. Yeah, fair enough for Dave Smith. I'm happy for him. He's doing pretty well. I'm just glad he got out from underneath the fucking stink of Luis J. Gomez. That guy is a little bit dead. I'm not gonna lie. Never been a fan of that guy. I think he's been stealing a living for a while. So happy that Dave Smith kind of got underneath from that fucking shitty gas digital shit and is doing his own thing. And yeah, obviously, that's going to pay dividends. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I don't know. I'd rather listen to Chris Stefano and fucking Yanis Papas give me their political opinions and shit. I'll listen to what they have to say, man. Honestly, I'm not gonna fucking, I'm not gonna pay attention to anything these other guys say. I don't care. I go to comedians for the laughs, for the LOLs, for the jokes, for the good times. I don't go to them for fucking political opinions. Personally, I could be wrong. Talking about Luis J. Gomez, I haven't seen his video just yet. I haven't seen the actual video he's responding to, but allegedly, Luis J. Gomez had a complete horror show on Kill Tony. Allegedly, Luis J. Gomez absolutely shit the bed on Kill Tony in Madison Square Garden. So much so that it's become the talk of the subreddits and stuff on Skankfest, on the Skanks Reddit, and sometimes on the Kill Tony Reddit. People have been talking about how badly he did. And I guess on the next episode of Rap, he decided to cope and try to explain why he did so poorly on that big Kill Tony stage. Given a big shot to kind of impress, given a big shot to do his thing, and he completely shit the bed. Which I'm not surprised by, because Luis J. Gomez is barely a stand-up comedian. Barely. Like, he legitimately has no right and he basically has no right and no place to ever criticize Brendan Schaub's comedy. He's as bad, if not worse, than Brendan Schaub. And he actually might be worse because he takes stand-up comedy seriously. And he actually tries to be funny and write jokes, and he goes on tour and he does sets in places and shit, and he releases specials consistently. Like, he's actually worse than Brendan in that case, because he's actually trying. So he doesn't have any right or room to take the piss out of Brendan. But this is Luis J. Gomez talking about his experience on Kill Tony at Madison Square Garden, courtesy of the Kill Tony subreddit. Let's see how he tries to cope about how poorly he done. I can't wait to watch the video itself when it eventually does drop. I'll probably do a live stream. So if you're gonna watch it, wait for me and we'll watch it together. I want to watch that whole Madison Square Garden fucking thing when it eventually does get on YouTube. I think it'll probably get on YouTube in probably it'll be a month now, isn't it? Probably be on YouTube in like a month's time, but whenever it does drop, we'll probably do a little kind of watch along on it, because I kind of want to see it. But this is Luis J. Gomez responding or clarifying why he did so poorly on Kill Tony. Let's see what he has to say.
Here's what I'll say. This is what's fucked up. They they told me I was likely going on Saturday. Tony wanted to keep it all very like, ooh, we'll see when we're putting everyone up. I was outside smoking weed with Big J and DeRosa, and I get like 10 missed calls from Ari, and they're like, dude, they want you up right now. And I'm wearing sweatpants and a fucking dirty hoodie, and I'm like,
By the way, I love how he's already trying to gaslight the story by trying to like take the piss out of Tony Hinchcliffe for like keeping the schedule and whatever close to his chest and trying to make it, you know, a little bit exciting on the day and add a little bit element of surprise or excitement to how people are going to be on the show. But more than likely, he knew about his appearance on Kill Tony months in advance, maybe weeks, maybe days. He knew about it. He knew he was going to perform on there. So it wasn't a surprise. Maybe the time he was going to go on was a surprise, but the fact that he was going to be on that stage was not a surprise. He knew he was going to perform at some point. So there really is no excuse for not being prepared at all because you knew.
Like, you can't spring the garden on somebody. That's crazy. It's psychotic. So I had no idea what I was even doing.
You knew you were doing a Kill Tony show. It shouldn't really matter if it's the garden or if you're performing at a comedy club. You should have something planned to do. Now, it might not hit on the fucking at the garden the same way it hit at the comedy club, but you should have something planned, really, shouldn't you?
Literally had to go up the elevator. It was stuck on the top floor for a medical emergency, so I'm like just sweating, being like, ah.
Like, just die. What's going on up there? I have to go up.
So then I went up there without. So I mean, I was legitimately really fucking nervous when I went up there.
Even without the medical.
I was nervous. These guys, man, they spent the best part of like 2 decades telling us they're all like high-level stand-up comedians, telling us that they're the best, you know, ripping into fans if they dare to try to tell a joke in their direction, saying that we're not worthy of their presence, saying that they are the fucking elite of the elites when it comes to fucking class clowns and court gestures and shit, only to be on a platform that your friend built from scratch. This is not some fucking corporate entity doing this show. This is your friend's show in Kill Tony, a colleague of yours, a peer of yours, a brother in arms, and now you're like nervous. Nervous. These fucking guys, man.
Emergency. The elevator was like almost like it makes you want to miss your set at Madison Square Garden. It's just for the artists, and it's the slowest. It was so slow. Yeah, it was so slow.
So
we're blaming the elevator now. The elevator in Madison Square Garden is too slow. The elevator fucked up my set, sir. I didn't do well at Madison Square Garden because the elevator wouldn't go up quick enough.
But it was really cool, and shout out to Tony and the team. What'd you say?
Dang hoop.
A dang
Was
hoop.
it a dang hoop?
It was.
How'd you feel about it? You felt good about it?
I felt good about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt
Of course you felt good about it. Comedians never really are honest or never own up to when they bomb, ever. They never really own up to it. They always felt good about it. I can't remember a comedian bombing and all the fans saying they bombed and them agreeing that they bombed. They'd never agree. Yeah, I felt good. Yeah, I smashed it. I killed it. I'm the best. It's like the delusion is real.
The joke did well. I fucking just got off. I wish
first and last time.
What I should have after
MSG.
watching Ari the next night. Ari came out so big and
He
so.
came out, it was like a wrestling match when he came out.
And
Hold on. So you're not aware that Kill Tony kind of lends itself to that? With how psychotic and how crazy and how random it is? Maybe coming out with a big entrance and being a little bit bombastic and really playing up to the crowd and their drunken, druggy, euphoric, hedonistic, just overly enthusiastic vibe might actually work. Why is he surprised at it? Haven't you watched Kill Tony? Haven't you been there? Haven't you seen the show grow from like comedy clubs into like arenas? It's always been the case.
That's the thing that I regret. Not that I would have done what Ari did, but I could have just been more me. I could have been big.
Honestly, we would kill Brendan. If Brendan was on here coping like this, we'd kill him. We'd be killing Brendan if Brendan was out here copying these type of pleas. And he has all these friends around him saying, yeah, man, it's true. The lift was too slow. Yeah, it's true. The lights were a bit too bright. Yeah, it's true. The stage was a bit too far away from the fucking crowd. Yeah, the roof was really fucking high. That ceiling, fuck, man, I could barely fucking touch it with my fingertips. Like, we would kill Brendan if he was coping like this. This is incredible. This guy talks like he's a fucking, you know, Hall of Fame comedian, and here he is complaining. Here he is complaining that his entrance was a bit too meek.
And I could have busted balls. Like I would have fucked with the table had I not been thrown up there like that. I would have had the moment.
So he's blaming Kill Tony. Kill Tony threw him up there
To be like, oh, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna make it like more big.
He didn't know he was performing at Kill Tony, by the way. He just goes some random guy waiting to fucking hang out at the store, waiting to watch the show. They just plucked him from the smoking area and say, hey, perform. He had no idea he was performing. Come on, man. Get out of here. Fuck off, mate. You knew.
They're big fucking sparks. I would have fucking, you know, it was more like I was like, oh, I got out there and I just did a joke and then I dipped off. So that's my only regret.
I know.
I can't wait to see this footage. It's probably terrible. I can't wait to see this footage.
Watching Ari too, I was thinking that I'm like, oh, it's fun to watch guys like that because Ari's so different and he really does, in a weird way, motivate you to be like, oh, I should be me.
When I watch Ari go that big.
What? Ari's different. Motivates you to be you. So what are you when you're on stage then? Somebody else? Who the fuck are you? You're barely good. You're hardly funny being yourself. But then you decide to go on stage and be somebody else. You're probably horrendous. Like, can you imagine her comedy? She's not even that funny, like, generally, being herself. Can you imagine her trying to be somebody else on stage? What?
Big. I'm like, no, I gotta fucking remind myself, don't be a fucking...
A lot of these guys would probably do themselves a lot of justice and probably help themselves if they actually were able to translate their relaxed, conversational podcast persona on stage. They don't, though, because a lot of them, like even Joe Rogan. I think if Joe Rogan was a bit more like how he is on the pod, especially on Xavier Parks on the stage, he'd be a lot funnier. But he has this weird Sam Kinison hacky type of voice inflection thing that he does, and he just has a weird sense of humor when he's on stage. If you actually tried to like take that podcast humor on stage, he'd be way funnier. Same for Luis J. Gomez. All these guys need that. So I'm not too sure why they have to wait for Ari to remind them. Like, it's like, bruh, just be yourself. Like, you're way funnier on your pods than you're on stage. So maybe just do the podcast persona. Forget the other stage show persona.
Like I'm a fucking nervous asshole and just tell a joke. Like, go big, be me. I should have fucking thrown a drink into the crowd. I should have kicked Rogan in the head. It would have been fucking great, dude. Fucking put Rogan in a guillotine.
Yeah, but you probably sucked him off when you saw him on stage. And like, hi, Rogan, big fan. Love the new studio.
That would have been fun. Rogan beating you up at the garden.
Getting beat up in Madison Square Garden by Joe Rogan, you're doing more than any other UFC fighter ever.
Hell yeah.
What? Honestly, I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see this footage. I haven't seen it just yet, but based on how much Luis J. Gomez is coping and how many pleas he's copping, he probably did terrible. Probably did so fucking bad. And the fact that no one's uploaded it, because there's clips you can find on YouTube. If you do some certain digging around and searching and search via upload dates and stuff, you can find some clips from the Madison Square Garden event. You can find, Shane Gillis doing his Trump impression. You can find Adam Ray doing his fucking other impression. You can find some bits. You can see Joe Rogan on there. You can kind of find bits and pieces. But I haven't found one person who's re-uploaded Luis J. Gomez set from Kill Tony at MSG. So it must have been that bad that even the illegal clippers are like, this is not worth a ban. This is not worth a couple of views. They're just not bothered. They're just leaving it as is. So clearly it was horrendous. It must have been fucking horrendous. So I really can't wait to see that clip when it does eventually drop. I really, 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 really cannot wait to see. Oh, big up. Who's that? Big up Super Jello. Is that the Black Amico? Is that Kerwin Frost? He kind of does look like both, innit? He kind of does look like a mix of Kerwin Frost and Zach Amico. He actually does. He actually does. Anyway, I'm not going to talk bad about Zach Amico because I feel like he got me demonetized, so I'm not going to give him any more negative talk. Only love speech to Zach Amico, wishing him the best, wishing him prosperity and growth and loads of good comedy specials and Netflix deals and all this type of shit, right? I'm wishing him all the fucking best. Zach Amico is the greatest. He's one of my idols. I look up to him. I love him. He's fucking the greatest. So big up Zach Amico. Big up Zach fucking Amico. Okay? Cool. Big up Chris Mack said Lemaire was cool when I met him. Who's Lemaire? Oh, Lemaire's this guy, right? The black guy. Cool. Okay. Big up Lemaire then. Big up Lemaire. Everyone's saying in the stream chat that he's a cool guy. Hopefully he's a cool guy because he looks like Zach Amico. I think he's a cool guy because anybody who looks like Zach Amico has to be cool, right? Has to be fucking cool. Of course they're cool. You can't be not cool if you look like Zach Amico. So appreciate people for jumping in there and saving that guy. Appreciate you for jumping in and saving that guy. So let's quickly move on. Let's quickly move on. And let's quickly change tax. Let's quickly change tax. So this is a video that I quickly wanted to play for you just to kind of break up the content a little bit regarding this what you saw on Public Freakout. The title is Travel Influencer Delays Fellow Tourists, Blames Them for Being Annoyed. So I'm sure some of you guys know this guy. I kind of watch some of his vlogs on YouTube. I find them pretty informative and pretty fun and entertaining. His name is Tommy Carter. I think his name on YouTube might be like Tommy K or something. He does travel vlogs, mostly around like mostly around Central and Southern America and stuff. And obviously he does some very dicey shit when you go to rough places around those places, somewhere in Southeast Asia. Sometimes you hook up with girls, sometimes you hook up with local gangsters and stuff, and just be shooting the shit and do loads of fun stuff. But I guess on some of these trips, he also hangs out with local tourists and, you know, whatever. And I think in this particular scenario, I can kind of agree with the tourists about why they're annoyed, because I've been in this situation where you meet someone at a hostel and you become like holiday friends. You want to go out together, but then they start doing their own thing and kind of just let you just like holding your fucking nuts and twiddling your thumbs, waiting for them to kind of finish what they're doing. And it's really annoying because they kind of want to do their own thing, but they also want to hang out with you, but they don't really respect your time. So it's a weird thing. I understand both sides, but let me play the clip for you so you can see Wagwan of what's going on here between this argument.
I'm buying stuff to bring to the kids. The French guys are crazy. I'm coming. These French guys are...
So this guy is the influencer. I guess he's hanging out with these tourists while he's out, wherever he's out in Colombia. And they're annoyed that he's taking really long in the bodega to buy his thing. He's hanging out, he's shooting the shit with the people. He's talking, having a good time. And he's just not respecting their time because they want to do other things because they're out together. And they, you know, such ensues an argument.
Pissed off.
No está solo, eh?
Sorry. They told me if I go to Punta Gallina, I have to buy this coffee and thing. I didn't know.
Hiciste una película durante 5 minutos.
No hice película.
No, te esperamos a la agencia también, ¿eh? Sí, no. Sí, claro.
But that's not my problem.
Es un problema, porque tu tiempo no es nuestro tiempo.
No, but that's problem the agency. Why they put us together if I'm late?
I don't want to speak English with you.
I love that, by the way. They can both speak English, but she prefers to speak in her like broken Spanish to him in his broken Spanish, because I guess maybe they're in a company of a Colombian, maybe, I don't know. But I just find that power move from her so fucking badass. Like, I'm not gonna talk to you in fucking English. Talk to me in fucking Spanish, you prick.
Háblame español.
Yo, big up Young Old Vibes. Very astute observation. Colombian Yuri. Yeah, kind of. It's a good one.
Entonces.
Sí, un poco. Tú puedes hablar en español.
No entiendo por qué estás enojada conmigo. No entiendo.
Esperamos durante 40 minutos a la agencia que tu negocio...
Why didn't go alone? That's the reason. I don't like to travel with other tourists. They're always stressed. They're always pissed off. And now they destroy my vibe. But they won't do it. ¿Tiene reggaetón acá? Está soltera, está en moda. You see, guys, reggaeton, man.
I don't know. I've got two sides of myself in this. I like this Tommy guy. I like him. Or Timmy. I like this guy, right? I think he's fun. I like his personality. I like his travel vlogs. They're pretty interesting and fun. He doesn't go crazy with the editing. They're pretty good and informative, and his approach to traveling, I think, is quite refreshing. But I think in this scenario, he's being a bit of a cunt. A little bit of a cunt. Because he probably wants to have his cake and eat it. Because sometimes when you're traveling, it's quite nice to have people with you. Because sometimes as a solo traveler, as a solo raver, it can get quite boring always going out by yourself. But it's fun to sometimes go out with other people. So if you're traveling and you happen to bump into tourists that you like and your hostel that are cool, you want to hang out with, it's fun to have them be with you because you get to, like, you know, experience these things together with new people, quote unquote friends. But there can be occasions where you might be wanting to do your own thing as well. So I think it's unfair to kind of take up their time because you want to do your thing and you're selfish about your own time, but then you're not being considerate of their time. You have to kind of meet them in the middle. which is probably why it's advantageous if you are traveling by yourself to just kind of do it on your own. Find one person to hang with, but don't try and like jump into crews, because if you're gonna jump into little crews and cliques, you're gonna have to kind of abide by what they do. Don't get me wrong, it is kind of annoying when you go on holiday with people and they're like curmudgeons for like getting up at a certain time. They've got an itinerary, they want to go here, they want to go there. It's annoying when you're on holiday. You kind of want to relax and take it easy and just walk around and just figure shit out on the fly and kind of just fall into situations. But I think if you go with people, you have to you have to compromise a little bit. I think the way he's acting, he's being a bit of a child. He's being a little bit immature. I think when you're grown, you have to learn how to compromise a little bit. You can't be all about yourself completely, especially someone like this who's usually always out by yourself. If you're always traveling by yourself and you have a brief period of time when you're traveling with people, compromise a little bit, just slightly. I think that's perfectly okay. I don't really mind that, but I do like this Timmy guy. I think it's pretty cool. I big up Joe from MIA. Timmy Carter is Greek, but he lives in Colombia. Yeah, I'm very familiar with the guy. He's cool. He's cool. He speaks a bunch of languages. He seems pretty cool. I actually, for all the passport bros out there, content I like, because I think the video that I remember seeing of his was the one in, was it in Colombia or Brazil, where he went to like the open air drug market where they were legitimately like selling drugs like on the street and shit, like in like trays, and you could just buy what you want and shit. Crazy prices, crazy cheap prices, sorry, and stuff. I remember watching all that sort of stuff. I remember seeing videos of him going to like very dicey Brazilian favelas, places where you legitimately couldn't film. You weren't even allowed to film stuff on your phone, like block parties that looked amazing, like, you know, speakers literally bleeding with sound and shit. I love all that sort of stuff, so I don't mind watching a lot of that stuff. I really do love checking out his videos, but I think in this particular instance, I think he's being a bit of a cunt. Next clip I'm going to play for you here, courtesy of the public freakout, is this one. This one is called... This one, I think we can all understand this woman's annoyance. I think we can all understand it. I just have to say, I think I would catch a case off of this. I'm not going to lie. I think I'd catch a case. If somebody took my speaker and threw it overboard while I was on a cruise, I would catch a case. I swear to God, I might throw that woman overboard. Let's play the clip. Greek flag, by the way. Did you see that? Did you see that? One more time. Did you see that? Look at that. Look. Insane. This guy, again, we don't know much about the context, but it looks like the guy is on the deck playing with his Bluetooth speaker. I'm not too sure what the rules are. I don't know. I think it'd be a little bit annoying if you're on a cruise with a bunch of people and you are all allowed to play your fucking Bluetooth speaker out loud. I don't know what the rules are. I've never been on a cruise, really. It's not something I'd really do, but I think there must be a respect for everybody's shared space. I don't think you just be blaring music out on a Bluetooth speaker. I don't think that would be allowed. But let's say it is allowed, and you get into some sort of spat with your fucking fellow cruise person, and then you decide to just walk over to them and throw their fucking Bluetooth speaker into the ocean. I would be furious, bro. I'd be furious. Like that would turn into an actual fight. But in this instance, I also understand that lady. There's nothing worse than hearing somebody playing their phone on loudspeaker, like talking on loudspeaker, playing their songs on loudspeaker, and just generally being a nuisance. There's nothing worse than that. That stuff can drive you up the wall. It can send you fucking balmy. So I can understand the frustration. We've all been on a train sometimes and heard somebody playing or going through their... The worst is when they go through their timeline. Somebody has the volume fully up while they're browsing their IG feed, their TikTok feed, Twitter in general, and just everything is playing as they're browsing. You said super fucking loud as they're fucking browsing through, or as they're repeating a clip and watching it 4 or 3 times. And you're like, bruh, you're playing this stuff aloud. You're just not even like putting headphones in. You're not even trying to lower it. Because I've had some people on trains where they're watching a clip and they're just watching it at the lowest possible sound. That might be okay. But playing it on full volume on a packed train with no headphones on, come on, man. Come on, you're taking the piss. You're taking the fucking piss. But in this regard, I think I'd fight somebody. I'm not too sure. I think I'd fight somebody. What are you guys saying here? No one wants to listen to your terrible music. Is big up Jordan Ray. Appreciate that. That's actually true. Chris Mack, the entitlement is crazy. He's being rude for sure. But she just jacked his property for sea burial. Exactly. Could you imagine somebody just grabbing your Bluetooth speaker and and it's not even about the price. It's not even about, honestly, it really isn't about the price of the thing. It's just somebody taking your thing and just throwing it. Like what? Like, are you insane? Space Guy, defo do not visit anywhere in Asia if you don't want to hear other people's phones or games and combos and videos. Yeah, those guys don't play. They love that shit. That person is going to go over the railing to go get my speaker. Big up Joe for MIA, exactly. Oh my god, man. Yeah, exactly. RIP Gerard as well. RIP Gerard, man. Always missed, man. Honestly, we miss his presence on here, man. And in other chats where I've actually seen him as well. I'd always see him pop up on random live streams as well. So RIP Jared Mellerick, man. Absolute fucking legend. RIP Jared Mellerick, of course. Twitter's not safe space to scroll publicly. Agree with that one. I blast Red Bar on the speaker all the time, B. Big up Super Jello. Big up Blood Clot Super Jello. Blasting the Red Bar on fucking full blast. We love to see it. We love to fucking see it. So, moving on. Moving on, my friends. Moving on, my friends. Let's play the video that I've been waiting to see, waiting to enjoy. This is Elephant Graveyard. Big up my nigga, the Elephant Graveyard. He always does great work, and I'm happy, I'm glad, I'm over the moon. I'm fucking PROUD, which I never usually say because I think it's fucking gay when people basically say it. It's almost like a weird way for them to kind of like latch on and kind of act like they did something and they're a part of someone's success. I fucking hate people say they're proud. But in this instance, I'm legitimately proud of the Elephant Graveyard. He's always been making great videos, and it's great to see him finally get his just deserves and get the attention that he fucking deserves, for sure. Because he's been putting out great videos anyway. We've always enjoyed these videos on this channel. I've always enjoyed reacting to them. I've always enjoyed watching them myself. I'm sure some of you have enjoyed watching them. So it's good to see him finally getting the praise and the props and the views that he deserves. Look at those fucking views. Nearly 500,000 views in a couple of days. Nearly 500,000. At the moment, he's on 481,000 views. Fucking boss. Big up the Elephant Graveyard. Fucking love to see it. Let's play the video. I haven't watched it myself just yet, so I want to see this with fresh eyes and see Wagwan. Big up the Elephant Graveyard. Absolute G. The title is Burn the Boats is the funeral for Joe Rogan comedy career. No, sorry. Burn the Boats is a funeral for Joe Rogan's comedy career. Let's see it and let's see Wagwan. You can watch it yourself. There's a title. You see the URL on the page. I'm going to be pausing and stopping it from time to time. Don't be annoyed or pissed off that I do so. That's the way these kind of live streams work. If you want to watch it yourself, the link is there. Please understand, be patient with me. Let's watch it together. Let's fucking go, Elephant Graveyard.
Finally, the time has come. The comedy event of the year finally arrived. It's been 6 long years since we got a brand new hour of material from comedy's most valiant defender, the great and powerful Joe Rogan. Every era of comedy has its greats, guys. And you may not like it, but Joe is inarguably one of the greats now. He is the biggest and most successful comic on earth, and the valiant leader of the highly endangered 250 comics. In case you don't know what I'm talking about and have had your head planted...
Is it 250 or 300? I know it was originally 1,000. And then it went to 300, but I thought it was 250. I think the latest, I saw a clip of him saying, no, it's actually only 250 of us out there. I swear he said 250. Maybe I'm mistaken. I don't know. Let's continue.
Firmly in the sand for the past 6 years, there are only 250 comics
left
in the entire world.
It's me waking
there's
up.
so few of us. And worldwide, we were talking.
Oh, he said it. He said it.
He
said it.
And for the past 6 years, there are only 250 comics left in the entire world.
Because there's so few of us. And worldwide, we were talking about this the other day. There's maybe 500 of us on the planet. You know, you got to be real generous and say 500 because it's really probably about 250.
Whoa.
Right. But legit comics, guys you want to hang out with, guys who are...
I think honestly, I think Rogan just sees that number thing as a brotherhood more so. As in like the amount of professionals who make money from stand-up. I don't think he means it as like a comedy thing. I hope so. I hope not. I hope he doesn't include himself in like the 200 most funniest people in the world. Like, because that's obviously a lie. But I think he means more so as in the brotherhood of people that he sees on tour, going around places and shit. I hope that's the case. I hope so. I hope that's the case.
For fun? Please say you want to hang out with me. And the future looks grim for the 250, sadly. Only a couple years ago, there were still 2,000 of them, which isn't a lot, but still. They're dwindling fast, suffering many, many casualties. But Joe's doing his best to protect them, which is...
Big up Z. They all receive a letter to tell them they're special, like at Hogwarts. Yeah. Or like on the fucking, what's that thing called? The Umbrella Academy, right? They like... on the same day, all their specials get launched, you know? They all get picked to join the Umbrella Academy, the stand-up academy. Number 1, number 2, number 4, number 7.
Admirable, considering he's the greatest stand-up comedian of our time. As you can see, he's earned his spot amongst heroes like Robin Williams, Richard Pryor, Bill Hicks, all these guys. And maybe you disagree, but we have no objective way to measure the quality of a comic other than by their revenue.
I have what you call fuck you money.
So this multimillionaire is by...
I love the sincerity in the Graveyard's voice. We have no other way to quantify how funny someone is apart from how much money they have. So clearly Rogan must be the greatest of all time. He's taking the piss. He's actually taking the piss.
Far the best of the best. My parents had George Carlin and Richard Pryor. My grandparents had acts like the Marx Brothers, Red Skelton,
exactly,
and Al Jolson.
Exactly. Oh wow!
Jesus and
Christ.
we are truly
Jesus
blessed
Christ.
Because
Jesus Christ, that might be a Halloween costume. I might have to do that as a Halloween costume. Have you ever seen a black person put on blackface? That might actually be an interesting thing, right? Like see an actual person put on like blackface, like actually darken themselves on purpose. I might have to do that for a Halloween costume. That might have to be a thing. Or maybe for like the 300th episode or something, I might have to turn up and like, it's happy to be here, like some fucking gollywog. That would be fucking jokes, wouldn't it? I'd definitely be demonetized forever, innit? Hey, Ruben Rivera, you're banned. Ruben Rivera, you're banned. Don't ever say that about my goat. You're banned, Ruben Rivera. Young Old Vibes, you're banned. You're banned. Everyone, you're banned. Don't say that about my goat.
we get to exist on this planet at the same time as guys like Andrew Schultz.
Now that right there was a seamless transition into an ad if I've ever seen one before. Flawless perfection, and you deserve it, but so does BetOnline.ag.
Bert Kreischer.
Oh my, no way! I don't remember that. Did he have an ad hard baked into his comedy special like that? No way. Yo, you Andrew Schultz fans, you have a lot to answer for. Your goat is fucking hard baking ads for BetOnline AG on his special. That is flagrant. That is absolutely flagrant, isn't it? Like that podcast name is chosen for a reason. Jesus Christ.
And you deserve it, but so does BetOnline.ag.
Bert Kreischer. Tony Hinchcliffe.
Hello, I'm Tony Hinchcliffe.
Nah, that's that's fucking rude. Elephant Graveyard's rude. That is rude editing. He just had Bert Kreischer walk on stage with a shirt, take off his shirt, and then sip some beer, and that was it. He didn't say a single word. Elephant Graveyard is rude. That is so rude. That is his comedy material. Walks on stage, takes off t-shirt, drinks beer, walks off stage.
But so does BetOnline.ag.
And the crowd goes wild.
Tony Hinchcliffe.
Hello, I'm Tony Hinchcliffe. Come check out.
Jesus Christ, bro. I know Red Bar doesn't like Tony Hinchcliffe's fashion. I know Red Bar takes a piss out Tony Hinchcliffe's wardrobe. But Tony Hinchcliffe kind of glowed up, innit? He used to look rough, innit? He used to look fucking rough. Fucking hell.
I'll kill Tony tonight. Watch me do magical stuff like this.
I would dog like a motherfucking dog. Everybody knows that you need a hug. What's up, bitch? I'm a motherfucking lobster.
Nailed it.
And of course, their comedy father, who keeps them all well fed like little birdies in a nest. Joe Rogan. Thank him. This thing was shot in San Antonio, Texas, where those few brave warriors once defended the Alamo in that big battle. It's a lot like the 250 defenders of comedy. Against all odds, they prevailed. And thank Christ they did.
This is cinematic shit, man. Honestly, Elephant Graveyard, man. Well done already. This is some cinematic stuff. This must have took a fucking long time to edit. This is so unnecessary. This is the level of hate I aspire to be at. This is the level of hate I want to achieve. I want to aspire to achieve this level of hate where you commit an entire weekend to editing a video where you just shit on someone special and you pull all these amazing references from all over the place to illustrate why this person is terrible at what they do. This is fucking cinematic already.
Because otherwise we would never have been blessed with this wonderful comedy special, Burn the Boats. Now it's been 6 years since our man Joe released a stand-up special. The last one was back in 2018. Strange Times, which again is definitely one of the greats, as you can see here on this wall that you can find inside Joe's Comedy Club.
To be fair, that's kind of, I don't know, what's more flagrant? What's more flagrant? Let me know in the stream chat. People who have their picture of themselves as their background image on their phone, or people have pictures of themselves in their house, like from a photo shoot, not like a family portrait, but just like a picture of themselves from like a photo shoot, looking cute or something at home. What's more maniacal? What's more sadistic? What's more sociopathic? What's more psychotic? To have a picture of yourself as your background image on your phone, or to have a framed picture of yourself on the wall of your house somewhere? In my thinking, I think the framed picture of yourself on the wall is crazy. Like this, to have a picture of your own special on the wall of all these iconic specials is crazy. Because part of me would think, you open this comedy club and all the specials on the wall are kind of things that inspired you to start comedy or inspired you to open a club in the first place. Having your own special up there is insane. Is insane. Honestly, it's insane. What are you guys saying? Both, big up Space Guy, both. It's like having a portrait of themselves, having yourself as a screensaver, psychotic, bro. Yeah, exactly. No, I know it is quite. I'm just saying, there's two versions. There's a person that has a screensaver as themselves, or the one that has the framed picture in their house of themselves from like a photo shoot, looking cute, looking dapper, looking handsome. That's fucking crazy. Young gold vibes. I feel like you have a picture of you running on your wall. Like, you know, when you do marathons and like they have someone take a picture of you. Like, no, never, ever. I would never do that. I would never, ever do that. I'm not that self-absorbed. I am a little bit, but not that much. No way.
The comedy mothership. It's been so long. It's hard to believe he took 6 years to write an hour of comedy, but you know Joe. He has to get in there and hammer away at these jokes. Finally honed like Damascus steel.
I'm always interested in the writing process.
Yeah, why? What is yours? You just go, right? Like
I can type, so I don't have to look at the keys, which is nice.
Oh, wow.
I don't type great, but I type okay.
Enough.
As you're writing each individual word, you're pausing in time.
Yeah.
And you're in a time lapse. And you get to consider each and every possible way you would say something from that word while you're writing that word.
Yeah.
And there's a physical task of doing that with your keys and your fingers that makes you concentrate.
Yes.
Because it fires up your synapses and makes you think that you're doing this with your fingers. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
What's worse? Knowing Rogan takes writing jokes that seriously and still shit at comedy, or him just being bad? Because I think a part of me kind of feels sad because I believe him. I think he's incredibly hardworking, incredibly driven and shit. I believe him when he says he spends hours writing material, thinking about how to like cut the fat from the joke, all these like terms he uses. Like, he legitimately makes it seem like he's on some Navy SEALs operation when he's fucking putting jokes together. I can believe he dedicates that amount of time to himself. He goes away, goes hiking, locks himself in a log cabin somewhere in the hills, and just sits there writing and smoking weed all day. I can believe he does that. But it's just sad for me I just feel sad for him that he spends all that time doing that. Clearly passionate about it. Clearly gives a fuck about stand up. Clearly is passionate about the craft and has watched all the greats and all this malarkey, can quote jokes from other specials and has been inspired by all the biggest comics. And then you see what he does on stage and it's like, wow, it doesn't actually matter if you spend all that time working that hard. You're just terrible.
Yeah. You can't just shit out a bunch of jokes and expect them to be any good. Yeah. Joe is a man of quality, so 6 years it is.
Somebody please shoot me!
It took Michelangelo 4 years to complete the painting of the Sistine Chapel ceiling. And it's pretty good, I guess, but imagine if he had spent 2 more.
It's pretty good, I guess. Imagine if he spent 2. Honestly, the graveyard is smashing it. It's pretty good, I guess. But it's no burn the boats.
Years on it. Imagine how much better it could be. Guys, I've said it before and I'll say it again because nobody ever seems to fucking listen to me, but quality takes time. Like dry-aged ribeyes, or a dram of that wonderful Lafroig whiskey. If you have a triple-digit IQ, you'll be able to wait patiently, knowing that despite the difficulty in waiting, the results will be worthwhile in the end. Now, a lot has happened in the life of Joe Rogan over the past 6 years. It's been arguably the most dramatic 6 years of his life. Since 2019, he has found himself in some hot water many, many times.
Troubling videos sparking the uproar went viral over the weekend.
Do you think he'd ever watch something like this? You think he could watch something like this and laugh at himself? Or do you think he'd get annoyed about something like this and try and like strike it down? Because I think it'd be really refreshing if he could watch something like this and laugh at how ridiculous he sounds sometimes, how he comes across, and have a semblance of like self-awareness and like, you know, just self-deprecating and not take it too seriously. I don't know, that would be so refreshing to see, but it's probably unlikely. That'd be so cool if that happened, isn't it? Like, oh my god, I watched this video, they fucking destroyed me, man. I get it, like, that'd be so good to see, but these guys have no ability to like laugh at themselves. Like, they like to laugh at the crowd, they like to fuck around with you guys in the crowd with the shitty crowd work shit, but when it comes to you taking the piss out of them, they don't like it.
And we should warn you, it's difficult to watch.
And to help cope with the adversity he's had to face, he's redesigned his entire...
Oh yeah, that floating head one. Was that floating head apology when he was saying sorry for the N-word?
To watch.
That's an iconic video.
And to help cope...
That floating head apology, is that when he was saying sorry for saying nigger? Or is this the video where he was saying sorry for the taking the horse tranquilizer shit or something? Because he's apologized quite a bit in the last 5 years, isn't it? There's been a lot of apologies, a lot of walkbacks. All that money he's accepted from Spotify, it came with a lot of strings, man. He made a lot of money, but he's had to apologize more in the last 5 years than he's ever done in his entire career.
Cope with the adversity he's had to face, he's redesigned his entire personality, becoming a brand new guy, which is commendable.
Oh, Texas went red, bitch! There you go. See, no, that's
but with this new guy that he's become, he's also attracted millions and millions of new fans thanks to his wonderful podcast. And apparently, despite it being Joe's justification for existing, a lot of these people aren't even aware that Joe does stand-up comedy. In the lead up to this special, Joe shared a few promotional posts advertising the event. And a lot of the commenters, sorry, the haters, I should say, well, they had a lot to say about the quality of Joe's comedy act.
Best podcast ever, not so much comedian.
Many of the rest were just confused why this guy was suddenly doing a stand-up special out of nowhere, which is pretty interesting. You hate to see it, but maybe it's just because he's been away so long. Maybe
someone's right there in the comments, isn't it? I didn't notice it before, but he does wear the same thing in it every special. The blouse shirt things. I think this recent one, the shirt fit him a bit better. You know, the shirt fit him a little bit better, but he does wear exactly the same outfit in every special. Just a different color shirt. Oh, it's like he buys them in multi-packs, you know, in just different colors and shit. Hilarious guy.
Maybe they just forgot. I mean, we haven't seen Michael Jordan dunk a basketball in over 20 years. And even with him, it's easy to forget how good he was. So I can understand forgetting how funny our king really is, but that's no excuse to be rude. I'm afraid some of this animosity was getting to Joe, who admits he is so fragile that he can't even watch his own specials, which isn't exactly a great way to improve your routine, but what do I know? He looked incredibly nervous and with
yeah, what do I know? Let's look at the gang. Gang, gang, gang. What do I know, gang? Big up the elephant graveyard. What do I know, gang? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Without confidence as he promoted this thing on his podcast leading up to it.
Okay. I have to announce, because Netflix is making me announce this, that I have a Netflix special that's live Saturday night.
Ooh, the way he even said it. Ugh. He sounded kind of scared and nervous. I have to announce it because Netflix is making me announce it. Jesus Christ, Rogan, man. At least pretend like you're ready. At least pretend like you're there. God damn it. They have to. Netflix is making me announce it. Netflix won't let me go.
San Antonio.
Oh.
So it's gonna be live all over the world.
I've seen your set. It's really funny.
It's tight now. It's good. It's like I'm very happy with it.
Oh. He says you're funny and you say it's tight. It's like, oh. You really should be saying, yeah, some of the best stuff I've ever done, I think. I think I'm really on a different frequency of funny. Like, no, it's tight. What? Is it funny or not?
How long has it been since you dropped the special?
6 years.
Wait, do seriously?
Yeah, I was ready to do one in August of 2020. Then I just started changing a lot of bits and moving stuff around. And I'm like, I don't want to do one right now.
Oh. So COVID didn't prevent him from putting the special out. He's the one that didn't want to put it out. So he actually purposely took long to tighten this setup. And that's what we saw. I thought COVID and just delays and opening the comedy club kind of, made it delay. But he's actually saying he's the one that didn't want to put the special out earlier because he was trying to work on it some more. So the work on it some more is what we saw on Netflix. That's what we saw on Burn the Boats. That was his 6 years of editing. God damn.
But not everyone was negative about it. Some comedy fans were thrilled and chomping at the bit to be part of a wonderful live comedy experience from the comfort of their very own homes. Thank you, Netflix, for all you've done for comedy.
I've prepared for this probably more than anything I have, maybe in my life, but definitely in recent memory.
I'm not gonna lie.
Probably more than...
Observation here. Observation here. Observation here. If I'm a Akash Singh, I'm gonna feel a little bit insecure. Andrew Schultz on the same comment, they left exactly the same comments. 4 flame emojis next to Rogan announcing his comedy special thing, right? Andrew Schultz got 753 likes. Akash Singh's same comment got 90 likes. I'm gonna feel a little bit self-conscious. I'm gonna feel a little bit insecure. How is he getting so many likes compared to mine? What the fuck is going on here? How? How, Sway? How?
Netflix, for all you've done for comedy.
I've prepared for this probably more than anything I have, maybe in my life, but definitely in recent memory. I've been going at it hard.
Okay, well, sounds like Joe is ready, and
I didn't know he was pushing it and talking about how much effort he put into this, to this level. And the comedy special that I saw had 2 good jokes in it. In the hour special that I watched, 2 good jokes.
I am too, so let's prepare to laugh. Take notes, liberals. Wow. And there he is, wearing a very beautiful, delicate, flowing mustard blouse. He looks gorgeous. Ah, and there's the stool. God, that's exciting to see. I hope he utilizes that stool tonight. He has to, right? Chekhov's stool.
I've been living here for 4 years. I fucking love it. I love it here.
Okay, well, right off the bat, he does seem a little nervous still, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs.
I want to sell kayaks!
Now, I'm not sure if he's confused or what, but he's shouting full...
He's so bad. You know what's funny about Rogan? I don't think he's funny comes from that voice. You know what I mean? Even if when he's being off the cuff funny, I don't think his most funny moments have come when he uses that kind of voice that he uses. That's the weird thing about it. Yeah, I'll be up Coiler. Yeah, R.I.P. Susan Wojcicki. Yes. R.I.P. Susan Wojcicki, former YouTube CEO. I didn't know she was ill, so she was kept that private. She clearly didn't want people to know, which probably explains why she stepped down from YouTube role anyway, because it seemed odd at the time. She randomly just stepped down and kind of disappeared from the limelight, or disappeared from media in general. She didn't really give, I don't even think she even gave an interview. about why she left or anything. She just kind of left. I think she had a role to play in who succeeded her, but she just kind of stepped away from the limelight. So I guess that was a reason. She was going through her health issues and probably wanted to spend some time with her family and try and see if she was able to kind of recover from it, but unfortunately not. Fucking tragic, man. Only 50, I think, as well. Only 50 or something. Like, cancer is a fucking bitch, honestly. Like, one moment you're here, next moment you're not. Like, just wham. So yeah, R.I.P. Susan Wojcicki. R.I.P. Susan Wojcicki. R.I.P. Susan Wojcicki.
Blast the same way he does when he's doing commentary for UFC events, when he's surrounded by an arena full of thousands of screaming fans. Maybe he's been doing too much UFC, not enough stand-up, and his wires got all bungled up there and he forgot which gig he was at.
Never moving. The only adjustment I've ever
Oh wait,
made
okay, there he goes.
is Texas weed.
Suddenly it all clicked and he remembered this is a comedy show. The audience is quiet and there's no need to shout the whole time. Great.
Texas weed is different.
Yeah, that's better. Good job, Joe. You can do it. You got this.
That's such a good observation. Big up Edmund Gray. That's such a good observation of that, like, recalibration of his voice. Like, he almost realized in real time, oh shit, why am I screaming at them? I've got the microphone. They can hear me. That's an amazing observation. I didn't even pick that. Big up Elephant Gravy. That's amazing.
Texas weed is grown on Texas soil.
Now, almost right off the bat, Joe goes into tackling the topic of weed. Now, weed, if you don't know, is a serious crime in Texas, the land of the free.
Exactly.
If you get caught with that stuff, they literally lock you up in a prison with scary criminal murder guys, mutilators, violators, all those types. But lucky for Joe, he got around this issue by simply becoming friends with their wheelchair governor guy called Greg. What a lucky guy. So there's some advice for my fellow partakers down
The wheelchair governor guy. Wheelchair governor guy is fucking hilarious, man.
down in Texas. Just get in with this guy, jiggle his flaccid dangler, and you'll get the green light to bun to your heart's content. It's actually really easy. So Joe is sticking to his tried and true handful of topics. He mentioned weed. And here he gets onto the topic of aliens again, one of Joe's favorite subjects.
I'm very invested in aliens being real. If they're not, I'm gonna feel so fucking stupid.
Yeah, Joe is definitely going to feel real stupid if aliens are proven to be fake. Say what you want about Joe, but when he's proven wrong, even though he might feel a bit dumb, he takes it in stride and learns from his mistakes.
But the State of the Union was not live, and
Yes, it was.
no. Did you see that they found out that it wasn't? Someone zoomed in on his watch, and his watch was the wrong time.
What?
Whoa.
How could that even be?
I don't know what they knew. How do you know what they knew? You get a feed. You know?
I don't think all the Republicans would agree to it, too.
Who
Because they're
knows
all
what
there.
they knew?
What?
They're all there live while
Yeah.
he's doing it? Let's see.
I don't see anything. State of the Union wasn't live. I added watch.
It could be some troll shit.
See anything about
They
that.
got me.
Yeah.
Look at Biden's watch, incorrect time, State of the Union. Yeah, there is a fake image. They got me, these sons of bitches. It's just amazing how much stuff is fake. It's just
They
like
got
that
me.
stuff. Like, who's doing that stuff and why are they doing that stuff? They could probably be putting up some of that misinformation themselves.
Attaboy, Joe. How can anyone not like him?
People go, if aliens are real, why don't they just land on the White House lawn? Oh, well, when you go fishing, do you check in with the president of the lake?
What?
Now, I hate to fact check already, but there is no president of the lake. There are fish and bugs and ducks and things, and there may even be a mayor of a nearby township, but no president. So this analogy is terrible, and I don't know, guys.
Exactly.
Look, I've been trying to be positive about this thing, but there have already been several red flags that Joe's heart is not in this comedy thing anymore, and no. Sorry, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay positive here, stay prepared to laugh. Continue.
What the fuck just happened?
Holy shit, where have I seen that face before? Let me dig into the files here. I think I know. Oh my god. it's him.
No way.
I think
No
aliens look at us the
way.
same way we look at Waffle House fights.
Now, we all know Joe has never been inside a Waffle House, so how does he know about Waffle House fights?
That is so true. If Joe ever did step into a Waffle House, you know, if Joe did actually, if Joe actually did step into a Waffle House, he wouldn't shut up about it. you know he wouldn't shut up about it. You know he would be talking about it till he was blue in the face, right? He loves a bit of fucking repeating stories about meeting commoners and regular people and civilians and shit. He wouldn't stop talking about it. Big up Quayla. Elephant Graveyard giving it an honest try like AZ. Yeah, man. Like, I went into it with the best intentions because part of me kind of wants to prove everyone wrong that keeps saying Rogan isn't funny. So I kind of had a vested interest in it, right? I had a dog in the race, but it didn't take that long until I realized that I was mistaken and Rogan just isn't funny. And I just got annoyed and frustrated. Oh, fucking hell. 6 years to do this. 6 fucking years.
From social media, of course, Joe is a rabid user of social media, especially Twitter. And despite being a detached millionaire who mostly hangs out with the retired Navy SEAL security guards he keeps around him at all times, there are many, many accounts.
Retired Navy SEAL security guards, yeah. It's like, does he hang around with anybody he doesn't pay? That's the one of the negatives of being super rich, isn't it? Basically, everyone he hangs around with, he kind of pays them. That must be so shit, isn't it? That must be so fucking shit. Everyone around him is on salary. That's horrible.
Accounts Joe follows that allow him to keep his finger on the pulse of the quote, real world, like these ones. I call this genre of account Poverty Safari.
Exactly, yeah.
There are many of them that let you vicariously explore things like the hoods of Detroit or the homeless camps of LA. The problem with Joe is that this is all he looks at, all the time, and he has constructed inside his mind a very distorted model of the world around him,
100%.
which he never actually sees in real life.
100%.
It's a lot like Plato's cave. If you've got a triple-digit IQ, you already know what that's about. But if not, Plato's cave is an allegory, look it up, for the way our brains interpret data from our senses and construct a model of reality that informs the way we think, feel, and behave. In the story, it's explained that we all resemble captives who are chained deep within a cavern and who do not yet realize that there is more to reality.
Yo, we're getting deep into the weeds, bro. Philosophy, huh? Philosophy. Are you serious, bro? Elephant Graveyard going deep. Love it.
Reality than the shadows they see against the wall. So Joe's social media feed is his cave, and the first evidence of that is seen here with this Waffle House remark. Okay, now before we look at this next clip, I just want to prepare you. You may be confused, but don't worry. President Joe Biden is not suddenly collaborating with Rogan on this special. This is actually an impression that Joe has been working on for 5 or 6 years, and he's finally ready to unveil it.
Okay, let's see.
Joe isn't known for doing good impressions, this is very brave to try and do live here. Let's be nice.
I got hairy legs. My uncle got eaten by a cannibal.
Incredible. See, guys, 6 years. 6 years. 6 years. Well, with a few of his regular subjects out of the way, Joe...
He is pretty bad at accents. I think the only good accent Joe does is like Alex Jones. He's got a really good Alex Jones accent. I think he does Joey Diaz pretty well, but that's it. He doesn't really have other good accents. But that was a pretty bad Joe Biden accent. I'm not going to lie. That was pretty fucking bad.
Veers into a topic that's going to permeate a lot of this special. Ass play. I don't want to sound like a broken record, as we've spoken before about Carl Jung and the shadow self, so just to make it quick, we all have an inner shadow self inside our psyches that...
Quoting Carl Jung. Quoting Jungian philosophy to describe Rogan's obsession with butt play is fucking insane. Elephant Graveyard is just too much, man. This is crazy.
that contains all the hidden aspects of our personalities, the self's emotional blind spot, the part of you that your ego does not want to acknowledge, all the things we do not wish to be. But to become a fully actualized person, those aspects need to be assimilated somehow. And if not assimilated, the repressed shadow will find all sorts of ways to leak out subconsciously. And as you'll see in this bit, whether he wants to do this or not, Joe's obsession with ass play gets put front and center. So here we're about to see some clear shadow leakage as Joe graphically describes the unbridled pleasure of anal probing.
Yes, I'm glad he said this because I noticed it. I did notice it when I was watching all the fucking specials, especially that first one where he has an entire skit where he's basically simulating fucking Brian Callen up the arse. Like, and it's very, very graphic, very detailed. It sounds like it took a lot of time to make, and it sounded like there was a lot of role play, even maybe in the studio. Maybe Rogan actually did go behind Brian and shit. He actually, it sounded like he enjoyed it. That's what I was saying. It sounded like somebody that clearly enjoyed what they were doing. So I was like, hey, this is a bit wild. I'm not gonna lie. For someone that always proclaims that they aren't into dick stuff or gay shit and are incredibly straight, that seemed like a very, very gay act to me. But I could be wrong. So I'm glad to see Elephant Graveyard pick up on, you know, Rogan's, you know, not so subtle signaling of his shadow self.
Imagine if you have your greatest orgasm ever on an operating table on a spaceship. Oh, Jesus! Make them just jizz all over themselves. Just, oh, Jesus! Oh, God!
Greatest orgasm ever, he says. Well, that may be so, but Joe, you don't need to wrap that admission up inside a story about aliens. It's not a surprise, guys, if you've been studying Joe Rogan as long as I have. You'll remember the time he publicly opined on how great it would be to become a woman and get fucked by some guy.
I know you well enough to know. You, Joe Rogan, if there was a technology that could instantly turn you into a woman, you wouldn't hesitate to turn into a woman.
I'd like to feel a dick inside me.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
As a woman?
Yeah, and
I don't think it made me gay. What happens is you become a woman who actually feels the way a woman feels when she's attracted to a man, and a guy with a dick like a battering ram.
Let me try.
He's just gonna send it home.
See what happens.
And you can't wait. You want to feel him come inside your upper rib cavity. Like,
I want to feel it. Sign me up. The point is, like,
Duncan seems to be really into it too. Duncan seems to want to watch it. He wants to watch whatever footage comes from this fucking experience. He'd love to see Rogan as a woman getting fucked by some dude. I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't. Rogan's not cute, really. I think he looked kind of wild as a woman, but Duncan seems to be really into it. Duncan is really into it. He's really into the idea of watching fucking Rogan getting his back blown out as a woman. Wild.
Some men, the weakest among us, would be scared of that experience.
Because Rogan's got a flat ass. He'd be a type of woman that's like square bodied, big fake tits, flat bum. There'd be nothing to watch there. Like, you know, that'd be a rough watch to watch Rogan as a woman getting smashed. That wouldn't be like, that wouldn't be enjoyable. That'd be a rough watch, you know? That square head with a wig on. Like, I don't know. No, thank you.
Right. Well,
they'd be scared that that experience weakens them and turns them into something that they dismiss.
I would like to feel what it's like to be pregnant. Really? Yeah. I wonder if amyl nitrate does that. Like, that's the reason why gay guys like poppers. It's
The lady doth protest too much. Big up, Koila. It's not gay if we live in this simulation. Yeah, it's like that episode of Black Mirror, right? It's like that. Episode of Black Mirror where the two guys fuck each other in the game, and it's like an immersive game where you kind of like can feel shit, and they have female players and they end up fucking and shit. I think that's how it works, right? In the game, it's really weird. So they fuck each other in the game as girls. So it's like a lesbian thing, but they both do. I don't know why that was a gay thing, but that was how they tried to spin it. So that's kind of what it's going to. I think there'll be a lot of dudes that would do that though. I think there'd be a crazy amount of dudes that actually would do it. If that game was available, I think there's probably a scary amount of dudes that actually would try it out just to see what won. Just to, you know, just for the thrill of the game, you know? Just to feel something.
because it relaxes your asshole muscles.
Is that true? Or
yeah. Oh. Yeah, that's part of. It's like a feeling of euphoria and also relaxing your asshole muscles.
Or how he enjoys engaging in oral sex with a penis from time to time.
Yeah, I can suck my own dick if I wanted to.
No, you cannot.
You can.
Yo, I believe Rogan has sucked his own dick 100%. He says I could suck my own dick if I wanted to. He's definitely sucked his own dick. For sure. For sure. It explains so much about Rogan. It really does explain so much about him, man. I played it. It's called 2 Bud Lights. Yeah, 2 Bud Lights and a baggie, innit? That's what his game is called. It's fucking named after a street song or something. 2 Bud Lights and a baggie. 2 Stellas and a cheeky bag. 2 Stellas and a cheeky bump. That's what the game is called. Big up the streets. Oh.
Yeah, no, you that far.
You know I can.
Okay, that's just some context for you as we examine this next sequence.
That's how they get come out of donkeys.
Oof. Okay. Unfortunately, now it sounds like the crowd's initial excitement and enthusiasm is running on fumes as we've got our first real obvious awkward bomb of the night. The crowd goes completely silent and Joe just stands there like a deer in headlights. But
I didn't notice this. I swear I didn't notice this. I didn't notice the bomb. I didn't notice that little bomb there. That's how they get come out of donkeys. Everyone like, what? I'm not gonna lie. I swear to God, I enjoy doing this in real life. I enjoy being at like house parties or gatherings, especially at afters, and just dropping an absolute lead balloon of a joke and like clearing a room. There's nothing I love more than going to an afters and just bringing up some dicey topic or having some bizarre and very crazy hot take that just like sends everybody from the room out into toilets or into other rooms. I love that shit. I love clearing a room. I love it. And there's no better way than just dropping. That's how they get come out of donkeys. And afters. Everyone's looking at me like, huh?
Joe manages to salvage it by stooping to the lowest form of conversation. Remember when?
Yeah, big up Chris Mack. Big up Chris Mack. You know what, go on. That's such a good feeling. I swear to God, it's the best. Because there's usually people at like afters or like gatherings with friends in places where everyone's trying to like be the guy to like make everyone laugh or try to be the cool guy. That's lame. That's not easy, but it's like that's played out. Who gives a fuck? The actual challenge is to try to be intentionally combative, annoying, or just weird and freaking everybody out on purpose. I fucking love that shit. I swear to God, it brings me so much pleasure. Or just going out of your way to be a contrarian and just doing the fucking, you know, playing devil's advocate, but really standing 10 toes down in it, right? Doubling down, tripling down. I fucking love it.
I used to host Fear Factor. And yeah. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's so hacky. That's
now,
so hacky.
I don't know if this is from excitement and arousal or from nervousness and fear, likely some combination of both.
Buckets of cum.
But this is the moment Joe starts profusely sweating through the mustard blouse. Perhaps it's nerves from some subconscious realization that his shadow is about to take the wheel and squirt out a major leak here. Pay attention to this region here and watch how it develops throughout the show. And by the way,
yeah, big up Super Jello. Tism jokes on my North Star. Yeah, I love dropping that sort of stuff. Like, you know, just outlandish stuff. Just say, I don't know, just being like, yeah, what you call it? Mental health isn't real. Like, just do push-ups. Like, you know, that sort of shit. If you're depressed, go on a run. You know, that sort of stuff. You get out of life what you put in. If you're not getting what you want out of life, you need to work harder. Life is a meritocracy. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Like, loads of that stuff, bruv. Race politics. Like, honestly, I get into it. I go fucking hard in the paint. I go hard in the fucking paint.
Oh man, look at that stool behind him just teasing us back there. Stop teasing us, Joe. He knows how to build suspense, that's for sure.
I remember one year when I went to Berlin. Honestly, if you've been, you know. And I went to afters after going clubbing and spending fucking 17 hours outside and consuming every fucking drug under the sun and drinking a bunch, hanging out with some cool people. We go back to their cool apartment and they start talking about gentrification. And I cleared a room by arguing about the pros of gentrification. And I used the Olympic Games in London as an example of gentrification done correctly. And how it boosted the local economy, brought back jobs. Honestly, I cleared the room in record time. I was advocating for landlords. And building developers and stuff. Oh, that was a legendary clear the room moment. I love that. I love that.
Ah man, we are only 5 minutes into this thing and I am just dying for some stool work. We'll have to settle for some ass work for now, I guess.
Take a cattle prod and you stick it up the donkey's ass and you shock his prostate and they just bust. And then I was like, what does that feel like? What if it's your favorite thing? Like,
there's that leakage.
You can't even tell anybody.
It's too bad for Joe. He's too old and his brain is far too calcified to become a new guy in this aspect of his life. It's too deeply rooted.
That's so true. That's true. He's too old. This is him. This is who he is. That's so true.
But someone should tell Joe that it's okay to just enjoy that stuff. It's no big deal anymore, Joe.
Nah, that's great editing. I'm sorry. That's great editing. I'm sorry. That's fucking genius editing. To have the next clip be Joe out in the wilderness with some guy and looking at him like he's a fucking cutie.
Should tell Joe that it's okay to just enjoy that stuff.
Nah, Elephant Graveyard. That's fucking genius level editing. That is genius editing. Genius fucking editing. Yo, bro. He wants to definitely check his prostate, innit? Fucking hell, Joe. Look at that glance.
It's no big deal anymore, Joe. Ass play has gone mainstream. Don't worry about it.
Should we keep hammering? Should we keep hammering?
Keep hammering? What's that?
But instead he settles for keeping it a secret while...
When you think your bro's on the same time you're on. He wants to fuck, but his bro's not really down. Oh.
Don't worry about it.
Should we keep hammering?
What?
Should we keep hammering?
Keep hammering? What's that?
But instead he settles for keeping it a secret while releasing a little shadow pressure by revealing his deepest desires live on Netflix for millions of people under the guise of donkeys and aliens. It works for now, but it's not a viable long-term strategy. Now, and I can't believe this, but he's going to bail on his set, and we know he's bailing because Joe has said for years that once he's done a joke on a special, he retires it and never does it again.
Yep.
So here he's really starting to bomb, and is so terrified that he's going to break his own code and fall back into some tried and true material. He is going to Mencia himself here and regurgitate a bit from his 2009 special, Talking Monkeys in Space.
Really?
And I'm watching porn on the computer. My girlfriend just opens up the door. You did it while I'm at home. She was really sad about that. And I didn't have the heart to tell her, I do it while you're sleeping right next to me. She goes, I can't believe you did it while I'm at home. And I'm like, I do it while you're sleeping right next to me.
Oh man, that's a...
Oh no. Rogan broke the cardinal Rogan rule. Never reheat an old dish. Never reuse old bits. He always talks about writing material. As soon as you do a special, you just dash it out the window. You burn it. You eviscerate it. You say to your dragon Dracarys on your notepad. You never fucking use it again. And Rogan, going back on his word. Rogan disappointing the comedy gods. No.
It's a finely aged 15-year-old classic bit. I'm a little surprised that Rogan broke his code here, but our behavior can change dramatically when faced with an existential crisis like bombing this bad. For example, when people are in the midst of drowning and someone jumps in to save them, the drowner often ends up inadvertently and tragically murdering their rescuer amid the struggle to save themselves. You do what you gotta do, and I guess when you bomb hard enough, you do what you gotta do to survive too. But unfortunately, that can often be self-defeating.
Here's the thing about jerking off. Everybody does it, but if you get caught, you're a fucking loser.
Uh-oh, this actually sounds like a cope. I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but I grew up without an uncle, and that has gifted me with the ability to detect copes. And this has to be a cope. This is way too personal.
You're a fucking loser.
And by the way, not to nitpick, but have you noticed that this is Joe's new default face?
Yeah.
Does this look like the face of somebody who's enjoying what they're doing? To me, this face confirms that his heart is not in this anymore. And I just don't get it. Like, why is he still trying to do stand-up? What's the point?
I can't keep doing this.
And man, the sweat stain is evolving rapidly. He's very nervous. And judging by the way he can't stop screaming, he's likely hopped up on stimulants and booze.
Ooh. Do you think Rogan abuses Adderall the same way that Brendan does and stuff? It makes sense though, right? There's no way Brendan does Adderall just by himself, innit? He definitely something that he probably got introduced to by other comedians, high level people, higher level operators, entrepreneurs, you know, that sort of nonsense, right? And they all think they're fucking entrepreneurs, they all think they're fucking running corporations, they all think they're fucking, you know, magnates and fucking whatever, right? They think they're fucking big business for people that need to have their mental faculties running on full fucking blast all the fucking time. So it wouldn't surprise me someone like a Rogan got Brendan into fucking Adderall in the first place, but that makes a lot of sense.
Joe forgot to mention that also during COVID, he became a bloated alcoholic.
Is somehow or another better than jokes.
Oh, God damn it. I'm sorry. I gotta stay positive. Joe, you're doing great.
Is it?
Joe then goes into a little story about going through airport security high on mushrooms and how wacky that was before swiftly pivoting right into his other passion, the trans.
Men get pregnant. I'm willing to say pregnant men. I just don't think it's a good. I think you need extra words.
What?
Maybe we should use extra words.
Oh no, there's that silence again. Hearing more and more of that as the audience grows weary.
Trans women are women. How about most? How about almost all? You gotta leave room for crazy. Just jokes, folks.
You know, when they put this line in the trailer for this thing, I thought he must have said something truly edgy, but now I'm seeing it as actually a massive cope, uttered during a major bombing.
Just jokes, folks. No one's getting hurt.
Notice that sniff there? That is one.
Wow. I honestly didn't realize all of these moments of bombing. I swear I don't think I did. I'm gonna actually make the edit of my reaction from the fucking Patreon and just clip all the bits where I kind of pause and put it together. I'm not just sure if I noticed the bombs. That is so true. He was actually bombing quite a lot, innit? During the live set. Fuck. He bombed quite a lot. If you think about it. There were loads of moments where the crowd was completely quiet. Oh my God, man. Brendan's got to get back into stand-up. If Brendan doesn't get encouraged or doesn't get motivated or inspired to stand up now, he'll never do it. Because if Rogan can make a living being a stand-up comedian, so can Brendan. He just needs to get over the fact that he might not sell tickets as much as Rogan and all this shit. He might not go on world tours. He might not go on arena tours. Just, he can definitely make a decent amount of money if he wanted to. He's just got to stick with it. Because he's more than able to be funnier than Rogan if he wanted to. Just got to try a bit, you know? Try a bit harder. Be a little bit more, have the ability to be have the ability to self-edit. Have the ability to be kind of harsh in your comedy and shit. Maybe get some help or whatever. But I think Brendan has the ability to be funnier than Rogan if he tried, honestly, because there's not much to kind of fight against here. Rogan's pretty shit.
One of Joe's tells. He does it on the podcast all the time. It's a nervous tick that comes out when he feels awkward about something embarrassing he just said. We all have our tells and ticks, guys. Mine used to be that I'd look to the side. But I got over it and am back on the straight and narrow.
You disrespectful motherfucker.
Oh, wait. Oh my God. Yes, he's approaching the stool. Here we go, yes. Now's his chance to win him back. No, damn it, just another tease. And by the way, why didn't Joe film this in his comedy spaceship? That's too bad. I'm surprised he wouldn't want to give the place some easy advertising. Joe is normally very prolific with his advertising work.
Yeah, I'm very surprised by, oh my God, I'm so glad Elephant Graveyard brought up the point about the McDonald's. I swear to God I made the same point on my Patreon. I swear to God I did. The McDonald's thing is so bizarre to me. I would love to know why he does this way. I'm sure there's a legal reason behind it. I'm sure it's legit and it's okay. But the way Rogan subtly fucking advertises for McDonald's is so bizarre. There'll be a random episode, yeah, I'm kind of hungry. I kind of want McDonald's. You want to get McDonald's? And then he'll be like fucking shilling fucking, you know, filet of fishes and shit. And then randomly the fucking order will arrive and they'll have the bags and put it on the table. And it's like, what the fuck is this? Like, why are we just like, what is this like non-ad for McDonald's all about? He does it all the time. So I wonder if this is like those are like one-off deals that he gets, if there are things that he can not if there are things he's not allowed to declare if he wants to, or if he's just actually liking McDonald's genuinely. I don't think so. I think they are ads, but he does them quite often, and people don't talk about them enough because I think they're so bizarre. They're legitimately the most bizarrest thing ever.
Often able to squeeze several dozen ads into one podcast episode.
I opened up a comedy club in Austin, Texas.
I knew it. There's the ad.
Yeah, there's the ad.
But did you catch the sniff?
Thank you very much.
Guess he's a little ashamed to be doing this, but Joe is the king of slipping ads in everywhere, sometimes without you even noticing. And here he goes shamelessly promoting his club, disguising it as a joke.
I opened up a comedy club in Austin, Texas a year and a half ago.
This is a comedy pop-up ad. It's spam. It wasn't necessary, just a real-life pop-up ad.
Suddenly, every man in a dress is stunning and brave.
Okay, great. I was worried he wasn't going to...
It's also kind of wild to announce that during a comedy special and to look for an applause break. Like, I opened a comedy club. Okay, great for you. Why is that a joke? Why is that funny? Why should that be something that should be applaud? Like, you know, like, I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? It's a weird thing to include. So maybe that's why he did that tale of like sniffing, because he felt like a bit of a hack. He felt like a hack there. He kind of betrayed his tutelage and his learnings and his, you know, the icons that came before him would have never done that. Like, what? Like, what's this got to do with the joke?
Going to get back to the trans. Oh, the trans.
You can walk through the women's locker room with a hard cock, and anybody who complains is a Nazi.
Seriously, though, these aren't really jokes. This is all just his regular podcast banter he's been doing for the past 5 years. Just yelled on a stage in front of an audience. And the bombs are piling up, that sweat stain is growing, and it is a sad thing. I'm sorry, guys, I tried to be positive, but there is such a thing as toxic positivity. And I gotta say, this special is terrible and beyond salvaging.
Yeah, big up Chris Mack. I've noticed it seems as if Rogan has several of those indirect sponsorships. Yeah, exactly. That's a good word for it, Chris Mack. Indirect, yeah. Like there was some convoluted back stretcher machine he raved about for a while, different than an inversion table. Yeah, exactly. Great fucking there's a few of them. So I'm not too sure if those things are like whether he has like whether it's a thing where like they don't maybe pay you directly, but maybe they give you like a, I don't know, like credit or something, or maybe they give you like a free one to test out, so you don't really need to say it's an ad. I don't know. There's some loophole probably, because I'm sure he kind of keeps all that stuff on the up and up because he knows people will probably come after him. But I don't know. I find those ads so bizarre because there's clearly an ad. Clearly they're an ad. Like he does it a lot. I think there was one that he did. I think it was for like an application. Maybe it was like a VPN thing. He was talking to somebody and he just kept going on and on about this particular VPN thing, and he wouldn't stop talking about it. Like, and he was acting like he was just like endorsing it because it was really good, but it was actually an ad, but it wasn't an ad, you know? Like, he does it quite a lot, man. He, like, there's one thing about Rogan, he's gonna get his fucking money. You know what I mean? He doesn't play.
Career ending.
You can't just put lipstick on, now you can shit in the women's room. Like, oh my god, all of a sudden it's a hate rally.
Yeah, actually, kind of is. Doesn't help that this guy looks exactly like Mussolini.
Rogan looking like Mussolini, honestly. Elephant Graviel just showing off now. He's showing off. He's showing off. He's showing off. It's just like, I paid attention in class, you know. He's showing off now. Look, I know history. I know philosophy. Look at what I can go. Like, that's a fucking reference. That's a paw and a half. Rogan looks like Mussolini. Is so brilliant.
I'm not prejudiced. I think it's China. I think they got us with TikTok. Craziest thing is they make our phones. That's supposed to be our enemy, and they make our phones. Do you know how dumb that is?
Someone needs to dub that, innit? Someone needs to dub these Mussolini speeches with the Rogan bits, I swear to God. They probably won't look out of place. Someone needs to dub these with Rogan bits and put them on TikTok and let them go viral. That would be fucking brilliant.
I just want to say, honestly, I admire what they've done.
And maybe do an AI. Maybe there's a way you could do an AI Rogan voice with an Italian accent. Imagine that. Italian Rogan. Italian accent Rogan. That would be so good.
Done.
A lot of people miss this, but the Joe Rogan Spotify deal was in part financed by the Chinese Communist Party. Spotify is owned in part by Tencent, whose CEO, Pony Ma, has openly vowed to uphold the goals and desires of the CCP. So it's odd that Joe would
That is so good. I love that shit. I love that.
complain about this TikTok China stuff because
Xi
he
Jinping.
is most likely, whether he realizes it or not, a weapon of propaganda used.
Joe Rogan is an agent of Temu. Joe Rogan is an agent of Temu. Joe Rogan is an agent of Temu. Who would have guessed?
Used by the Chinese government to sow chaos in America. All you gotta do is follow the money. That's the one good thing I learned from Joe's podcast. And now something starts to happen that, and I can't believe I'm even saying this, but Joe actually goes full Brendan Schaub with this wonderful Chinese voice he does here.
Oh, look, there's Harry! Mr. Schaub, after you numb your lip, you need many, many stitches. This be worth pain in your life. With all these big criticisms about our infrastructure!
Well, that is rough, but at least he's not straight up copying Brendan's jokes, right?
My life would be so much easier if I was just gay as shit.
I wish I was gay.
So good.
It looks way easier.
We'd like play video games all day. We'd work out. At night, we'd fuck each other.
You're hanging out with only guys. No one can get pregnant.
Honestly, Brendan, please come back to stand-up. Brendan, stand-up needs you. Brendan, wherever you are, if you're hearing my voice, come back to stand-up comedy. We need you, bro. Stand-up needs you. You're just as good, if not better, than Rogan. Come back to stand-up. We need another special. We need another special. We need a special called Car Guy or Gearhead, right? Or Baseball Dad. We need one of those specials. Please come back.
That is a low that is so low where I never expected Joe to go. Stealing from Brendan Schaub. My God, if that is not the death knell of a comedy career, then I don't know what is. Brendan Schaub quit comedy after releasing that special, and it only stands to reason that if Joe is stealing from it, then he ought to do the same. Ugh, he just won't stop screaming.
Sports.
This joke doesn't need to be yelled. If everything is yelled, then you can't emphasize anything.
Exactly.
So this whole thing just
Great
kind of
point.
becomes white noise. It all just flows and blends together meaninglessly. It's stimulating but meaningless, which is basically what his podcast is, a screensaver for the brains of failed warehouse forklift operators.
Bars. 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 Fucking bars. We have to rewind that back. I feel kind of personally offended. I feel kind of attacked because I still fucking watch and listen to Joe Rogan. But this is a great way to describe Rogan. Honestly. Fucking bars, Elephant Graveyard. Wow, man. I feel attacked. I feel seen and I feel attacked.
Stop screaming.
Sports.
This joke doesn't need to be yelled. If everything is yelled, then you can't emphasize anything. So this whole thing just kind of becomes white noise. It all just flows and blends together meaninglessly. It's stimulating but meaningless, which is basically what his podcast is, a screensaver for the brains of failed warehouse forklift operators. Saturday.
Yo, big up the people in the warehouse. Big up the picker packers. Like, I honestly, the amount of hours that I spent listening to Rogan, working in warehouses and shit, doing crazy night shifts and stuff, and having it in my headphones, having it playing aloud in the place that I'm at and shit, just in general. Yo, I feel attacked and I feel seen. I feel seen and I feel attacked. Big up Jordan Ray in the chat. Big up Jordan Ray. Big up Super Jello. Big up Z. Yeah. Big up Mr. Still Your Girl. Yeah. You know what, Guan.
At home chewing on oxys and collecting Pogie. All right, what else did Danny Benito say here?
If you're getting your vaccine advice from me,
Oh, great.
is that really my fault?
Next, he goes into his routine of, I'm just a shithead comedian, don't take me seriously.
Exactly.
I'm a professional shit talker, okay? Don't take my advice.
This special is just PR now, this is not comedy. He knows nobody normal listens to his show anymore, so he can't reach them on his podcast. But normies watch Netflix, and a lot of them are going to be checking out what that guy whose podcast they can't believe they used to listen to, and have to try and remember to whom they admitted listening to it, and cringe with pure embarrassment about that. They want to see what that guy's up to. So this is Joe's chance to get some good damage control in.
They tried to use that quote as proof that I'm homophobic. First of all, it's not true, but if
He's literally just reenacting one of his many Instagram apology soliloquies. And it is just so fucking tedious to listen to.
Really?
He gets into his famous N-word controversy.
Yeah.
And sorry to say, He's still doing that propaganda where he tries to convince everyone that he only said it when quoting other people saying it, which obviously is a lie. Here's a clip from the first ever Joe Rogan podcast.
Once I get the internet to do it, I'll make it HD so you can see how ugly I am. Like, that nigga's ugly. That nigga's ugly.
They forgot to delete that one during Spotify's extensive operation.
In full 4K.
An N-word cleanup.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck about context. So, I'm not racist, but if I was gonna quote...
Oh, Joe, you should have just let this one go. This PR is embarrassing.
I'm not a racist. That's what's so insane about this.
I thought everybody would understand. Here's the thing about these words. You can't say them.
Damn, 6 years of honing this material and he's got to pad the back half of the special with PR. Oh, that's bad. But he still doesn't stray too far from the gay stuff, as that shadow continues to seep out.
I love gay men.
Joe's shadow is now in total control and is just leaking all over the place. And now, with the shadow in control here, he's going to steal another joke, this time from Bill Burr.
When you're in your car,
What? There's a Bill Burr joke stolen here. I didn't know that.
light turns green, but the scooters keep coming, and you just want to go to jail.
I have a lot of fucked up thoughts, man. I do. You ever drive down the street and see like 30 people up on a sidewalk and you just think...
Now that's at least 2 stolen jokes in this special, so that's bad. And this is the guy who got famous for calling out Carlos Mencia for stealing jokes.
If someone steals a riff from a song, that shit's in the news constantly. Yeah. Motherfuckers steal shit and make it on HBO,
Netflix.
put it on television.
Not only did he steal material from Brendan Schaub, but he really just became the new Mencia tonight. I can't believe it. Talk about full circle. The shit hero's journey. So who is going to step up and be the new Joe Rogan to the new Carlos Mencia? I nominate Joe List. Come on, Joe, stand up for comedy. Go after Joe Rogan aggressively, please.
I send my wife pictures of...
Why was there a random insertion of Joe List? Why would Joe List is the most like non-confrontational, meek type of dude, man. He was really in his own head the first time. Bless him, because I like to do the stories, but he was super in his own head when he did Rogan for the first time. Super nervous, clearly. Yeah, he's not gonna confront. Imagine Joe List confronting Rogan and calling him out on stage. That would be fucking brilliant. He's funny enough. He'd probably make it funny, but I don't think he's into like, you know, calling people out like that. He probably would let it slide.
Other dudes' dicks.
This is please, Joe, please, we don't need to know this. And as his deepest secrets are spilling out against his will, Joe is fully lactating now, leaking both psychically and physically.
Fully lactating.
Antonio, I love you to death. Thank you very much.
And now it's all over. It's finally done. 6 years.
6 years. Exactly.
And they really dipped into the budget for this closing credits music, which sounds like it's ripped straight from the Ken Griffey Jr. game for Super Nintendo. Well, I guess if I had one sentence that could sum this thing up, it'd be...
I hate dumb people that are confident, you know?
Try again?
I hate dumb people that are wrong and confident.
And now that that's done, every comic on every podcast is going to spend the next 6 months raving about how Joe murdered and killed and massacred and chopped up all the bodies into little tiny chunks, threw them in the Austin River, whatever that's called.
Laugh out loud.
Yeah.
Dude, I like it because him saying the N-word, so funny. So funny. It said the N-word? Oh, it's so good. It was so good,
Of
man.
course,
It's good.
of course.
It's good. It's so good.
Yeah.
And then he was talking about the word retard.
They'll kiss the ring for that podcast invite, and the cycle of comedy shit will go on and on and on. But, like we've discussed...
Rogan probably would want better people to be kissing his ring. He'd want more people to be sucking him off. He'd want better people, right? But the people that he wants to suck him off are very selfish in a way, even though they use him a lot. So they wouldn't do it just because they wouldn't feel, you know, authentic, or they wouldn't feel, you know, like they're doing themselves. They would feel like they're doing themselves a disservice. But the people who will openly go and run defense for him are Brendan and Brian, but he can't really use them for anything, right? They're kind of useless to him, especially Brian.
Just here before, everything has its cycle. Joe has completely run out of ideas, and his mind is ruined by social media. It can happen, it can. Joe has never been very good at comedy, but somehow he gets to be the #1 guy, the big gatekeeper. He's our era's Johnny Carson, and getting the invite to Joe's podcast is the new bringing you over to the couch or whatever.
But at least Johnny Carson didn't think he was a fucking stand-up comedian. That's a wild thing, innit? He has made himself into the gatekeeper of stand-up. He has made himself into the de facto shot caller, kingmaker, but he's terrible at it himself. What right does he have to tell anybody that they're good or bad? Like, you're terrible. Objectively terrible. Like, some of those jokes, you wouldn't laugh at it if you saw them on Kill Tony. If he got 60 seconds on Kill Tony, he would probably fall flat on his face. But, you know, in another universe where you've got the best podcast in the world, you are successful, which obviously is a lesson in there, in that celebrity is way more important than talent or ability to do something. Get yourself some fame, get yourself some attention, and you can kind of do what you want. You can kind of write your own ticket, really. You can kind of become a chef even if you can't cook. You know, you can run a business even though you're fucking in crazy amounts of debt and you've never, you know, known how to fucking run a fucking fruit stand, let alone an actual fucking business. As long as you got some clout and some fame and some whatever behind you, you can do what the hell you want in this world. Really can.
This special will go down as Joe's last. He's like 60 or 70 years old, and it's clear that his heart isn't in it anymore. This thing was just a greatest hits montage of the worst era of this guy.
Yeah, I've wondered that myself, Z. I've wondered that myself. Couldn't he just hire writers and learn from them and be open about it? This is embarrassing. I've always wondered that, like, why is it so frowned upon in comedy to not like use writers, especially if you're like a touring comedian and you're very popular and stuff? I don't know, put on a fun show for your fans, or in your, you know, whatever, people that follow you, and just hire some help to just tighten up some of your jokes, maybe add new material, or just tighten up your set so that when you perform every night, you just promote the hits. Because I think that's what Bobby Lee does. I think Bobby Lee just gets on stage and performs his greatest hits everywhere he goes. But he just doesn't record it, because if he recorded it, that would mean you have to, you know, have some new greatest hits. But he knows stuff that works. He knows stuff that works in a certain combination, and he just gets on stage and bangs it out. You know, if you see him the first time, you love it. If you see him the fifth time, you're probably going to love it anyway, to hear him kind of repeat that same song, especially if it's your favorite song. So I see why that's a good approach to go down.
Guy's podcast condensed into an hour.
Did you just assume my gender?
Every great has their final moments. And sometimes we don't even realize it's a final moment until it's already passed us by. Wayne Gretzky had his final goal, his final shift.
Yep.
Michael Jordan, his final dunk. Elvis, his final song.
Yeah, big up Keith T. He thinks he's funny. He's always talking about his. But yeah, that's probably the reason why he would never get a writer or never get writers, because he generally thinks he's absolutely funny. And you remember, a lot of these guys don't do it anymore. I think the Machine movie, and I think some Your Mum's House things kind of killed it and that hype. But do you remember there was a period in time where a lot of these comedians would be talking about how they could write better SNL material, how they were funnier than most people that were putting together like comedy series, and they could write a better pilot, they could put together a better script. You remember? It almost felt like these podcasters were getting really famous, and they kind of confused their podcast fame for like fame and notoriety and regard within like the normie mainstream media public type of thing, and they just assumed that they knew what was funny, they knew how to kind of get it out there, and all they needed was just a chance or an opportunity or someone just to step aside. And then they finally got given their opportunities. You know, they finally got to produce and do their own thing, direct it, all that shit, and that shit went straight to fucking cinema. So that's why maybe a lot of these guys don't really talk too much about that anymore. You don't really hear a lot of these comedians really let their nuts hang and say, yeah, I'm gonna take over NBC, I'm gonna be the head of this, because they know it's a thankful fucking job. It's a thankless job, actually, in reality. Thankless job. Big up Assad's, but what would make them big up Assad Aziz, but that would make them that would make the writers one of the 500, and they can only be 5. Yeah, true, very good point, very, very good point. You can't really get the writers involved, because then you I know.
The last time you ever pick up your son, your final summer sunset, and Joe Rogan.
This is brilliant.
His final stool hump. Gotta go back to 2016. We didn't even realize it at the time, but we were witnessing Joe's final stool fucking. Gotta appreciate every moment.
Wow, 2016. So that guy from what's that thing? That guy from that show, I forgot his name. He actually shamed Brent Rogan out of using stalls. Who's that dude? You know that actor that I'm thinking about? Big dude. And he's in that fucking series with that guy with Larry David. He's in the Larry David series. What's the Larry David series called? Remember, he kind of shamed Rogan out of stalls. Out of stall fucking. He kind of gave Rogan a bit of a dressing down. Like, kind of mocked him a little bit. Kind of said it was hack, essentially. I think that's the guy that made Rogan stop stall fucking, you know? I swear to God. I think he's the one that's responsible for getting on camera or getting on the pod and be like, yeah, people that do that is super, super hacky. He really fucking went in on him. I swear to God. Let me see if I can find the clip. I think his name is... Yeah, that's it. Jeff Garland. That's the one. Yeah. That's the one. That's the one. I actually have it here, actually. Big up Jeff Garland. Big up Blood Clot Jeff Garland. Yes, big up Jeff Garland. I actually got the clip here, actually. Let me see if I can get this up for you. Bear with me 1 second, though. Big up Jeff fucking Garland. He actually said this. Where is it? There we go. There we go. What's it called? Oh, okay. I've got the actual name of it here as well. And all sorts. So big up Blood Clot Jeff Garland. Bear with me 1 second on here. Bear with me 1 second. Une secundo. Where is it? Not that. Not this. Not that. Not this. There we go. Big up Jeff Garland. Push. Where is it? Yes, that's the one. Fine. Yeah, he did say. Yeah, he said. Yeah, Legion's Gangster, dumb name. Yeah, he came in hard. Fine Arts of Stall Humping. I think that's what the video is called. It's on YouTube. Somebody uploaded this a while back, so this should be the one where Jeff Garland went in on Rogan's ability to fucking stall hump. So this is the video. Big up Jeff Garland. I think he's responsible. He might be responsible for making Rogan not stall hump as much as he used to in the past. Let's see if I can get this up. Bear with me a second. Bear with me a second. If you like the stream, make sure you like the stream down below.
Get on up. Get on up. No. And by the way, when you see someone moving around like that on stage, I will bet you every penny I have they're not funny.
Stuff her in the corner of the couch. Oh, you fucking...
Fuck. Is that the equivalent of a guy stool fucker?
There's not a lot of women
Shah
that can
has
do
kind of
that,
an
though.
elitist approach to comedy. It's quite interesting. He likes bars. He says he likes jokes. He doesn't like stool fucking.
That is so good. That is so good. Let's go back to the beginning one more time. Let's go back to the beginning one more time. One more time. One more time. One more time.
What up? Get on up. No. And by the way, when you see someone moving around like that on stage, I will bet you every penny I have they're not funny.
Stuff her in the corner of the couch. Oh, you fucking...
Fuck. Is that the equivalent of a guy stool fucker?
There's not a lot of women
Shah
that can
has
do
kind of
that,
an
though.
elitist approach to comedy. It's quite interesting. He likes bars. He says he likes jokes. He doesn't like stool fucking.
How does this work? When he comes, his whole body just erupts.
Anytime I saw someone miming having sex, pumping air, I would just go, not funny.
No.
Exactly.
It was just like, it was a sign of like...
But what if there's a bit where you have to mime pumping air? Stool fucking, if it's the right bit, can be funny.
Really?
But it has to be a real comic with a real reason to fuck that stool. There has to be something to it.
Why do you do that? It looks dumb, all right? This is just being gay. That's all. Ass in the air. That's it.
There's got to be a bit.
Rogan, bro.
Pumping air?
Yeah, but
you mean like
there's got to be
screwing pumping?
Some bits.
What? But who doesn't know what that looks like? Why do you need to pump?
Maybe there's a reason. There's got to be something.
Unless, like, you're imitating someone having a heart attack pumping.
I'm not that retarded. It looks fucking stupid.
And most of the move around people are pushing it, just oversell shit by
I see what you're saying.
physicalizing what should be just funny the way you say it.
I'll take a fucking pencil and write that shit down. Bitch.
Yeah, big up Koila. I don't even like how he calls things bits. Yeah. That's the thing. He actually is passionate. He actually cares about the craft. He clearly spends time writing. He's always on stage. He legitimately opened his own comedy club. He's probably losing money on that shit. He just opened it just so he can perform somewhere anytime that he wants. And still, the level of stand-up we get is what we saw on Burn the Boats. That's gotta fucking hurt, bro.
I'm trying to think if Eddie fucked a stool. I
I
imagine
remember
there might
Eddie
have been.
fucking no stool, bro. See, I like Eddie. I like Richard. I like Chris Rock. Bless you. I like
Yeah.
Chappelle. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like I like people that have something to say. All that stool fucking is like, I would never disrespect the craft like that.
Well, you wouldn't have to disrespect it. You would just have to want to do it and then try it.
If the content is about your physical,
being as rich as Rogan is, honestly, and doing stand-up of this level is just crazy, isn't it? But maybe it shows he's actually in love with it for real, because he's made so much money. I think he's probably there's no way he's made more money from stand-up than he's made from podcasting. He's definitely made more money from podcasting, you know, all time across the years he's done it, than stand-up. I just can't imagine like being that bad at something and then actively pursuing it for that long. Like actually, when you've got other money, making avenues and opportunities that you're far better at. Like he's a far better podcaster than you as a stand-up comedian. But he just will not let go of the stand-up comedy shit, and he just refuses to get funny. He refuses to improve. Like it's like, bro, like please just get better. At least make it worth our while to watch.
right? That's not dancing.
Right.
Dancing's when you put like English, like when you're doing this to accentuate what you're saying. It's like screw that. We don't need that.
One more cocktail. I'm not that funny, man. I need some help.
Man,
Thank you.
Schaub too, man.
Shout out to Brendan Schaub.
I really do.
That's fucking hilarious. Shout out to Brendan Schaub. It's fucking hilarious. Let's go back to the burn the boats thing. Let's finish this.
Moment like it's the last, guys. He didn't mount that thing once during this special. So disappointing. You gotta play the hits, Joe, come on. And now he's this sad Charles Foster Kane figure. All the money in the world and never satisfied. All his decent friends scared away. The only friends he has left just kiss his ass and tell him he's amazing. That's the only explanation for him thinking this was his greatest set of all time leading up to this live stream. No real friend would allow Joe to gringo poppy himself. Now this Netflix thing is getting panned by just about everyone. And despite Joe insisting that he doesn't read comments, it's obvious that he does. And the feedback from this thing is going to wound him deeply. And the weird thing is, he didn't even need to do this. He's got more money than he knows what to do with. He just did this because he still wants people to think he's funny. This guy literally cries when he talks about becoming a stand-up and getting passed at the Comedy Store. He wants to be a comic so bad, and he's just getting torn apart out there.
Who knows what kind of bullshit act I would have had if I didn't run into Mitzi, if I didn't get past at the store. One of the reasons why she passed me is this, a trick that we all used to do. I learned from the Todd. He would sit in the back of the room, and he would sat next to Mitzi while Mitzi watched me, and he would laugh hard. I went up there and I did my set, and he laughed really hard. Mitzi just grabbed my arm. She goes, "You're really funny."
Wow. It's weird, isn't it? How he describes the story of getting past at the Comedy Store, because he describes it in a way that sounds like he scammed his way to get past. He didn't really earn it, right? They all knew that Mitzi was approaching maybe her end. Maybe she didn't have all her faculties, and they kind of took advantage of this lady, right? They kind of knew how to sort of play her. You'd go on stage, your other comedy friend will sit next to her in the back and just be overly laughing. The same way that Bert laughs now at the moment, try to go viral, right? The same way that Bert laughs now on pods and does the whole like crazy, wheezy, heezy laugh that you can just turn on and off so he can go viral. Those guys are doing that to Mitzi. So it's insane when he retells the story, he cries with a level of sincerity that makes you feel like it was a shock and he didn't know and it wasn't planned. It's like, bro, you planned it with your friend. You planned or put together a scenario that would result in you probably getting signed, you know, or probably getting fucking passed at the Comedy Store. Why are you acting like it was a big surprise? It's like, huh? I find that really interesting.
Call in for spots. You're a paid regular.
Wow.
That was more important to me than any TV show. Like, the TV show was just a lot of money. It was like I couldn't sleep that night. It was like, I'm a paid regular. Like, I'm a real comedian. I'm at the store. I'm a real comedian. I'm at the Comedy Store. Dude, I always knew I was going there. It was a religious calling, and the Comedy Store was terrible. and there was all these people that she passed that were like, I'm telling you, talentless.
January 6th, lock them up all up.
The sad thing is, despite it being the meaning of life or whatever, Joe's legacy will not be his comedy. He will be remembered as the stool humper who won the entertainment industry lottery, then voluntarily let the world collectively watch him go insane on the internet over the course of thousands of hours of podcasting. A cautionary tale of money chasing, Dunning-Kruger, and unreconciled childhood trauma.
I don't think he won the lottery, to be fair to him. I think he did just start podcasting at an early enough time, and you stuck with it long enough that he is the only one that's doing it at that sort of level. So you're going to get all the riches. I mean, it's sort of like first mover advantage. But I don't think it was a luck thing. I just think he just started, you know, he kind of trusted that level, that style of media, and went balls deep, all in, 2 feet in with that, and it obviously paid dividends. But it's just an example of life, really, right? You don't really, a lot of people don't really get what they quote unquote deserve. They get what they can, I don't know, negotiate, but you kind of can leverage your fame to put yourself in positions that you don't really belong in. And I think Rogan's the best example of it, because his fame is so crazy that he's able to just like, yeah, I'm a stand-up, you know? He can probably decide tomorrow if he wants to be a car designer, and it'll probably work out pretty well for him as well, because of that level of celebrity and following, will just follow him everywhere. So that's the real cheat code. Just get rich, get clouded up, get famous, and you can do whatever you want to.
And now Joe's really painted himself into a corner with this new Guy, Texas project of his. And even his new audience has started to turn on him. Now he's truly up a creek, waist deep in the big muddy, because he made the mistake of expressing a political opinion on his podcast, an alleged holy citadel of free speech. Those new fans of his say he endorsed the wrong guy for president, and they are pissed. Joe's dusted off and wheeled out his apology podium once again, but it's too late. And now Trump is using his sorcery to turn his guys against Joe, even encouraging UFC fans to start booing him at the next event.
Love it.
Joe's in a bind, and it's a beautiful bind. If Trump loses, all these guys are going to blame Joe and actively despise him forever. And if Trump wins, well, he has vowed to seek vengeance on all his critics in the media, which now includes Joe, who will only remain safe as long as his Navy SEAL pals stay loyal. Oh boy, that is bad. The world is leaving Joe behind, and just like Johnny Carson, I expect Joe will also become just a reclusive, depressed, rich guy, holed up in his own personal Alamo, surrounded by rock-hard retired Navy SEAL guys just snorting HGH and going on popper-fueled social media binges, just like Johnny. And before I go, there was one joke I did enjoy.
The funniest way for me to die is if I die from COVID.
Okay, yes, it would. An honest bit, and that was actually a good joke. I enjoyed that. But I do have to disagree. It would be much funnier if he was discovered dead and frozen solid inside his famous ice bath.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Imagine if he drowned in one of his ice baths. That would be actually really funny. If he actually drowned in an ice bath, it would be fucking hilarious.
Just frozen over with nothing but a bit of bald scalp and 2 rock-hard frozen nipples poking through the ice layer on top. Well, now that Joe's stand-up cycle is finally closed, he'll be sent off to be with the other former greats, who have come and gone in and out of our lives like clouds that wisp together in the summer sky, where they are formed into ephemeral shapes, then blown away. And so we all too will blow away. So enjoy it while it lasts, guys. We'll all be gone soon, thank God. Appreciate each moment like it's your last, because it could be. Thanks for everything, Joe. Thank you for your service. You fought long and hard, very hard. But now it's time to burn the boats. Please stay in your castle and never do comedy again, please. Burn down this shitty Joe Rogan sphere of influence and finally allow the comedy ecosystem to regrow from its ashes. The only thing good that could come out of this special is that it hopefully destroys Joe's comedy ambitions completely and he finally retires. But I do believe him when he says that this was the hardest he's ever worked at anything.
Jesus
This
Christ.
is the guy who couldn't handle more than 2 weeks of working in construction,
exactly.
the only real job he's ever had, and whose idea of hardship is spending 30 minutes in a sauna, something regular people do to relax. I give this thing a 1 out of 5. Thanks. And sorry. Gotta go.
Brilliant. Brilliant. In loving memory of Mitzi Shore is fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. In loving memory of Missy Shaw. Oh, masterpiece. Masterpiece. Absolute fucking masterpiece. Absolute fucking masterpiece. Big up Elephant Graveyard. Big up the Elephant Graveyard. That was fucking fantastic. I loved every minute of it. Every minute of it. That was very well done. Great observations. Loads of stuff that I didn't notice, especially the bombing stuff. I honestly didn't notice it. You know, equating the bombing and his nerves with the sweating and the little ticks and stuff was fucking brilliant. Loads of great observations. Loads of great philosophy talk. You know, I love that. Loads of good historical references pulled from that as well, which I also love. I really enjoyed that, man. He really fucking smashed it. That was a great review. Big up the Different Graveyard. Check him out. You know his channel. You know what he fucking does. Give him a fucking like. He honestly deserves it. Great fucking work. Can't wait to see more of it from the kid. Can't wait to see more of it from the Blood Cart Kid. Anyways, that's it, my friends. I'm off ski. I'm off ski. I'm off skis. I'm off skis. Betty time. Thank you for tuning in. Random Show episode number 274. 274. Tomorrow we're back again. We're going to go over the episode of T-Fat-K where they got Bilal Muhammad on there. I'm going to go through it and try and see if I can pull any clips from it. So be prepared to watch some of those things. And we'll go through some other bits as well. Oh, and we'll do the chin as well tomorrow. So check out me tomorrow. I'm not sure what time I'll do it, but I'll be around tomorrow to do the live stream for Random Show. There'll be another Taz also going up. Patreon will also be updated. So make sure you check those things. That'll be greatly appreciated. Make sure you like the stream before you leave, please. Give me a like. Like the stream down below. Don't be stingy. If you enjoyed the show, you liked what you see what you liked, and you had a good time, at least, the least you can do is leave me a little like down below. Come on, help a kid out. Give me a like down below. That'd be greatly appreciated. I would really appreciate that. Apart from that, that's it. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys again on the other side. Thank you. Be well, my friends. Be well, my friends.